Okay. And
The Four Beardsmen of the Bookpocalypse.
I don't think we have like a screen.
right.
Hello.
The,
We did go live.
we went live. There we go. Apologies. It's
Can
a
you
new
tell it's
driver on
Charlie's
the scene.
birthday?
Welcome, everybody.
Welcome to the 2+1 Beardsmen of the Bookpocalypse. You may undoubtedly have noticed we're short two guys today. DB is with Mrs. Rook because it's her birthday. Happy birthday, Mrs. Rook.
Happy birthday.
But we don't know where David List is.
No. David is lost in the wilds of a lake, and hopefully we'll see him at some point.
Yeah. But
Hope he didn't
thankfully
fall off his horse.
We're joined by the most important person, which is Douglas Lumsden is with us. Hi.
Hey guys,
Welcome.
how you doing? That's my wife Rita back there.
Hey, Rita.
We're
I
sure
should
to
bring
come
her
up
on.
with
Like, if we
Yeah,
want
yeah.
to plug in on the other laptop, we send her
yeah.
the StreamYard link.
We could fill
Yeah.
up the corner. I mean, she's
Yeah.
as much of writing my books as I am. So
a critical part of the editing and production process. So we should have
absolutely,
her join
yeah.
you, yes.
The inspiration, the editing, the production. Yeah, you bet.
Yeah. We'll rename the podcast the 3 Beardsmen and the 1 Beardswoman of the Bookpocalypse.
Yeah.
We'll give her a fake one.
Well, let's be honest. The gnomes in Doug's books are slightly bearded, some of them. So
Yeah. The women dwarfs
Yeah.
are bearded.
oh, dwarfs,
Yeah.
I'm thinking of. Sorry,
Yeah,
yes. I should know that. Apologies.
No problem.
You've only got like pretty much all of the books off camera.
Yes. Okay, just to let everyone know, I only slightly enjoy Doug's books. So I think there's 2 missing from the question.
Missing 2. You're missing 2.
Missing 2. I'm missing. Oh, what am I missing? Hag Rises from the Abyss and Spectre Raps on My Window. I have read them. The others in ebook. So
Oh, that's my entire library is ebooks. So
yeah.
that's my preferred reading.
Yep. So, good. We'll make it. I keep thinking that David will join us, but
Set, we're ready to go. We're live.
we're all good. So let's roll, I guess.
Let's do it.
So,
Fire away. I'm here to be interrogated.
Yeah, I mean, you won't have the professional research element just yet, but I do have plenty of questions. But it's actually a pleasure to have you on.
Thank you. It's great to be
Most
here.
of my
very much so.
my own personal reading before I got into sci-fi and fantasy properly was detective fiction, crime fiction. I'm talking like the classics, Chandler, Dashiell Hammett, the entirety of the Sherlock Holmes library, anything by Agatha Christie. Just I don't know what it was about like your own writing that kind of led you to blending that kind of classic like noir style hardboiled detective fiction and fantasy. Like how did that come about?
It was totally a whim. So let me give you a little background. I was teaching private high school for 15 years, loved the job, and I retired. This was in 2018, I retired. And then for the next year, I caught up on my reading, or tried to catch up on my reading. While I was working, I had very little time to do any pleasure reading, except during the summers. And so when I was retired, I just read as many books as I could. That's all I did for about a year. And then I said, I was reading a book. I don't remember what it was, fortunately. And I thought, well, I can do better than this. And so I decided, all my life, I thought someday I'm going to write a novel. And just never could make the time for it when I was working. I don't know how people who work full-time jobs have the time to write a novel. I'm just in awe of people who do that. But I was never able to do that. So one day I said, okay, I'm going to write a book. And I don't know what it's going to be about. I don't know what genre it's going to be in. All my life, I had altered between reading crime novels like you're talking about, Chandler and Hammett, and all of that. Loved the old noir, classic noir, mystery novels, crime novels, and reading fantasy. Fantasy was about like 50-50. I would alternate between the two of those. Tolkien, all the classics. And so I guess it was inevitable that I would end up combining the two genres because they were my two favorite to read. But it really wasn't my plan when I set out. And I thought what I would do, I sat down in front of my computer screen and I thought, I'm going to write 10 first lines of books. Just going to write 10 first lines, whatever comes to my head. My favorite book of all time is Catch-22 by Joseph Heller. And I read an interview with Joseph Heller once, and he said he couldn't start a book until he had the first and the last lines. And I thought, well, maybe I can be half as good as Heller. I'll just come up with the first lines. And so I thought I'll write down 10 first lines. And then I'll see which one grabs me the most, and I'll go from there. So I sat down and I wrote this really long description of a troll in a pinstripe suit standing in the doorway of a bar. And it was a 120 some odd word description of this troll. If he hadn't had the clay-like skin and the pointy ears and so on and so forth, I wouldn't have known it was a troll. Chalk that up to my powers of observation. So I wrote that down. And then I thought, okay, well, I have somebody observing a troll in the first person coming into a bar. And who's the troll looking for? Well, he's looking for the guy who's writing these lines. Well, this guy must be a private detective. And this troll is a policeman. And he came walking up to him and they started talking. And I just kept going and I never got around to writing the other 9 first lines. and then the next thing I knew, the book was finished and that was that. So, and cool. Why it ended up being a noir type detective in a fantasy world, I don't know. That's what first thing that popped in my head, I guess because of my two favorite genres, and I just wanted to have both of them in there. So I don't really have any better explanation than that, except that it just happened that way.
That's an excellent explanation. Ever since. Yeah. That's fantastic. I knew about some of these, but I didn't know about the first lines. But that's that means potentially there's 9 other series sitting out there that yet to be realized.
If I ever get around to writing those other 9 lines, maybe so.
Yeah.
I wonder what would have happened if you'd started with the final line first.
Yeah, it could have been so different. I mean, I had a lot of ideas, vague ideas going through my head when I first sat down. One of them was to write something that was inspired by I've Been Down So Long It Looks Like Up to Me by Richard Farina, written in the early 60s about his college experiences. Really loved that book. And I thought, well, I could write something about, college experiences. They were only like 50, 60 years ago. I still remember some of them. No. And that would have been a very different career if that had been the first line I had written. So who knows?
I definitely think there's something in, you consume media, like you read a book, you watch a film, and there is an element of, I could do that better. Like my book came about because I watched Pirates of the Caribbean, and I love pirates. Since Treasure Island was like one of my favorite books as a kid. Oh, here he is.
Hey,
I'm sorry.
You thought we were starting at 7, didn't you?
Well, 7 Aussie, 10 Brit. I assume 2 p.m. for Douglas and 5 for me. Was I wrong on all 4 counts?
Yeah, just by half an hour.
Wait, were we on a half hour today?
Yeah,
we half hour.
God,
earlier,
I'm terrible at this, Douglas. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Oh, no problem. Glad to have you here, though.
I thought you might have on a fedora, but that's not why I'm wearing my hat.
He's got
there. It is, and it fits over the. Not quite.
Not quite. This doesn't quite work.
But it is there. That's the important thing.
Yeah, I'm sorry, guys. I am very sorry for being late.
So, man, you do your professional research, but you did not research the time.
God, listen, I also named my file Donald Lumsden. So,
Oh no.
yeah.
Oh no.
That's probably not the name you want to be picking in the current
I,
climate. But
I've gone by, people have called me a lot of things, but Donald, not too often.
no.
Well, in my defense, this is chaos month for me. It's kayak season, and that's my day job is all about kayaks. And so,
July. In my latest book, the one that's coming out in August, I feature a lot of canoeing.
Really?
Yeah. So I did a lot of research on. I've been kayaking, but I did a lot of research, especially for terms people use when they're out on the water.
Yeah.
So hope I should have run it by you first to make sure I used them correctly.
Yeah. I am quite the expert. No, but my most recent book had some, and my only research, because of the nature of it, was tied to this one, which has a little bit of everything, just because of it's a tropical island where a lot of stuff goes down, and so I was leaning into kind of Hawaii for some of the stuff.
Yeah.
But this did not have kayaking terms or much of. I couldn't use kayaking in my book because it's fantasy. I don't even know where kayak. I'm sure it's a Native American kind of thing.
Yeah. But the beautiful thing about writing fantasy is
you can do what you want to do.
Right. Well, they're not speaking English anyway.
Right.
You're translating it, right?
True.
So you can use whatever words.
I could say kayak.
Yeah, it's a translation of the actual word they were using.
Oh, good supply. That's good.
Boys, I'm about to get myself right. Okay, this is Douglas. I eat chocolate-covered coffee beans.
Oh man, when I'm writing, I eat chocolate-covered pecans. I just pop them one after another.
Dark chocolate.
Dark
is that
chocolate, right? Of course.
Research.
Yep. I can't write a book without it.
I hear that. I understand.
That's all good.
I hate that I'm late. I know I already said that. I hate that I'm late and that I missed what looks like so I guess 20 minutes or so.
We'll never mention it again much.
I will. I feel bad.
I mean, we lost one original Beardsman, David.
I know.
That's what I'm saying. We could lose another one.
It was slim for a moment.
We're gonna rebrand us the four.
No, that won't work either.
No, like a brown sailor.
Just gonna have to go without the hat. Sorry.
I was like, I guess I'm gonna jump in the shower real fast, and then I see my Twitter, and I was like, what? So I grabbed this. I'm not ready for it, but I just wanted to show off one thing. There's two red-tailed hawks.
Oh, cool.
They used our yard as their to make a nest and to have two babies.
Is that the polite term for
it? Chicklets,
I'm more talking about the process of making the nest.
Oh yeah, no, I don't know. I'm clueless. I know what I know is because birds stand out to me. I realize I must be getting up there in age because I was watched every single day. I watch birds now, and I tell my family about birds, and they're like, "Okay, I'm the only one fixated on them." But they left me lots of gifts. While they were there, they raised two young ones. And you could tell when they're out and about because if you walk outside, there was not a squirrel to be seen. Usually there's 15 to 20 squirrels all over everything.
Yeah.
But when the big dogs are up there flying or just peering, squirrels clear the fuck out. I love it.
Well, across the alley from my bedroom, there's a building it's actually like a dog care center. What do they call it? Like a kennel. And on top of the roof there, for years, this seagull couple has been producing their chicks.
Producing is probably a better word.
Producing, right. And so we've got 3 of the little toddlers running around on top of the roof across across the alley from our bedroom window. So we monitor their progress every year. Yeah. It's always the same adult couple every year because
we're thinking the same couple of hawks.
Yeah, right.
I think these hawks do as well, and they should come back to this nest next year.
Yeah,
That's awesome.
So we're waiting. They're very close to being able to fly. So we always enjoy taking a look out the window and watching them stretch the wings and get off the roof for the first time. Yeah, it's pretty cool.
I didn't have that good a view of the hawks. They were probably 50 feet up a tree. But one time my buddy came around and he had a drone and he didn't get within 15 feet of him. It was probably more like 20. But when he got to a certain height to where he could look down in the nest and they started doing their, they started like screaming for mom. Mom and dad were out and about hunting probably. And I was like, buddy, I said, let's get some pictures and get that thing the hell out of there. Cause I think mom and dad are not going to like it terrorizing their children.
Yeah. The moms get very defensive.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah. The world over. Yeah. I'm wondering if all those feathers were sort of set loose during the production of said chicks.
Yeah, could be.
I don't know. I can't.
Feathers will fly.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah. Well, hopefully you'll introduce some hawks into your next book, David, and then we can...
Well, it's the sprakes, it's Papoose sprakes.
Oh yes, yeah, that's it. True, yeah.
Those raptor birds are my favorite kind of bird, anyway. I think so. So yeah.
I've got in my latest book I have condors.
Nice.
Yeah, because out here we have the California condors.
Yeah, those are huge.
Oh, they are. Yeah, they are amazingly large. And
are those
like 10-foot wingspans?
Yeah, like some of the biggest.
Right.
Are they? Do they hunt or are they? What is the word?
They're scavengers. Scavengers. Yeah, they're scavengers, but they're not above. Picking up a little furry beast from time to time if it happens to be in their way. Yeah.
They're definitely able, I'm sure.
Yeah. Oh yeah. And of course, my main character in that book, turns into 12 cats. So it's a weird cat. Transforms into 12 cats, and awesome. And so with the condors flying about, they had to be especially careful. Yeah.
Yeah. 12 cats is interesting. Like, Dracula turned into a swarm of bats, apparently, in some stories.
Right.
Typically, shapeshifters become one thing. The 12 cat and 12.
Yeah. My shapeshifters, I was very conscious of the whole mass gain and mass loss.
Okay.
Yeah, and so in my first book, for instance, in Troll Walks into a Bar, I introduced a character who was a were-rat, and he transforms into more than 100 rats because I had to have the ats add up. The weight of the rats had to add up to the weight of the character, right? So mass had to be the same. Yeah.
Gross.
He's one of my favorite characters.
Well, I won't.
And he plays a very and just show off. And he plays a very central character in this fantastic.
Same character.
He's same character. He gets his own novella. Yeah. Spin-off. Yeah, it's my spin-off.
And I highly recommend this. This is down dirty, awesome novella. So
that's my nasty little novella. My nasty word-losing novella. Yeah. Tom, you were going to say something?
I was going to say, I won't spoil, but you are working your way towards an entire were menagerie in your book.
Awesome. I love shapeshifters. Yeah, they have a lot of fun.
I don't know if you have this. I didn't find it if you do, but like some kind of wiki online that has.
I don't. Now, in fact,
stuff.
I am not. My notes are not well organized at all.
Right.
And I'm constantly having to refer back to what was the name of that character and how did that magical system work, and I have to sort through all kinds of computer files in order to find these things. So a wiki page would help me quite a bit. So I probably should do that someday.
I've got a universal style sheet, and it's helpful for a couple. For two things. One is for the copy editor / line editor or whomever. Of course, for you, that's Rita.
My wife.
Yes.
I'd love to see that.
But also when I'm doing an audio book, I have just one of the columns is the pronunciation. So I have a great producer narrator, Duffy Weber, and however he pronounces anything that I write becomes canon. That's. I think I saw you mention that somewhere regarding the pronunciation. You're like, figure it out, whatever. That's it. You got it. That's kind of how I felt about it until somebody said, "How do I pronounce?" The narrator said, "How do I pronounce this stuff?" Like, I don't know. I've only ever written it.
Whatever Duffy says it ought to be, however he says it ought to be pronounced, that's how it gets pronounced.
Yeah. And I had a question I think about what we mentioned earlier when we briefly chatted about Duffy before we started, and Doug, it'd be interesting to know the voices that the characters take on in an audiobook versus the voice that you've had in your head for years that you'll hear when you're writing. Is it strange to sort of suddenly have a different take, or did it match what the voices in your head?
Most of the time, I'm extremely happy with what Duffy does. With the voices. Occasionally, I will say no. I don't envision it that way. I'd rather have it something else. And he is so cooperative, and and plus he has a million voices, so It's nothing for him to just say, "Well, why don't I do it this way then?" But it's very interesting because in the second book, in which walks into my office, or which step, what is that called? Which steps into my office? I came up with a new detective character. I wanted a woman detective. There you go. Which steps into my office?
Charlie is the best at that.
Yeah, excellent. And so I wanted a woman detective. And also in that second book, I had decided to put much more emphasis on North and South American mythology, Mesoamerican, Native American, and South Pacific. I grouped that in there too, because out here in Central California, we have this great mix of people and a lot of islanders. And so I wanted a character with an islander last name. So I called her Kalama, Laurel Kalama. And so I wrote the book with Laurel Kalama, and in my head, she had just, a sort of a neutral woman's voice. And Duffy said, why don't we give her a South Pacific accent? And I said, well, that makes a lot of sense. And so he sent me a sample. He gave me a neutral sample and a South Pacific sample, vaguely South Pacific sample. And it was wonderful. And so we went with that. And every book I wrote after that, and she became a featured secondary character. That voice was in my head when I wrote her. So he created the voice for her.
That's cool.
And in many ways, then he really developed her character for me, which then I ran with. So
yeah.
So that was great. That was a great process.
No, very good.
My narrator he does well, no complaints, but I think one of his things that I had to change regarding voices that I've had in my head that then I was either happy with or not. He kind of went Billy Butcher. If you're familiar with the show The Boys, he went Billy Butcher on one of the characters. Kraus, the Carcass, is one of his more flattering names. And it sounds like Billy Butcher. And I forget, like, it's been a while since I've listened to it. And when I do listen to it, I'm like, oh yeah, he sounds like Billy freaking Butcher. But some of the female characters, I think he modulated the pitch, like post-production.
Oh, I see. Yeah.
And this is no shade toward my narrator. I love him, but I hate that. I don't like pitch. It's just artificial. It's just artificial.
Yeah.
And not every. The reason that it's okay for some of the characters is because some of the characters are more effeminate. Some of the female characters are more effeminate than others, and I don't think it's glaringly obvious that he modulated pitch. Yeah. But as an audio kind of person, I'm like, that's not your voice doing that. You nailed that a little too well.
Yeah, Duffy sometimes will say, I can put this effect in, especially for some of my demonic characters.
Yeah.
And I can put this effect in, and he screens it, and then we decide whether or not it's going to work.
Yeah.
And we've come up with some really good ones that way. Yeah.
Nice. I'm split. Part of me is like, just narrate, just read it. But then you hear
I'm
people
too much
like
of a control freak for that.
Yeah, 100%. And Stephen Pacey is somebody like that. Anybody with 1,000 voices,
right,
will spoil you completely because you hear all the stuff they can. Yeah, awesome. That's cool to have.
I listen to his books and I'll say, I love the voice you use for this character in your book. use it for my character.
Nice.
Yeah, and he's happy to do that. Yeah, I think we got Lou Bank that way. Lou Bank,
Okay.
yeah,
Yeah.
Lou Bank's voice I think was modeled
Yeah.
after one of the characters in his book.
Fine,
Yeah.
upstanding,
Yeah.
upstanding member of the legal profession.
Oh, Lou Bank is I think my favorite secondary character.
Yeah,
I love him. He
he's
came
a lot
out
of
of
fun.
nowhere too. He came out of nowhere. I was writing, and this is actually all my side characters come out this way. I'm writing, and I think, okay, Sutherland needs to go see someone who's a friend. I haven't introduced any friend. He's kind of a loner, but I figured he has to have at least some acquaintances. And I thought he needs one here. So who would it be? Well, probably needs to be a lawyer, given the context.
Yeah.
And thought, well, but he can't just be some neutral, bland background character lawyer. He's got to be somebody with a personality. And so I wrote him as a gnome with a terrible hairpiece who has blackmail on every important person in the city,
Nice.
and who was utterly confident in every situation, the most confident man in the room in every situation, regardless. And he just took off from there. And then Duffy gave him the voice, and he became, I think the best secondary character I've written. So
Yeah,
Awesome.
he's so much fun. Like that scene where they're having Chinese takeout,
yeah,
which is fantastic.
yeah.
It was like classic Lee Bank.
Washian
Yeah.
takeout. Yeah. I took all my realms are based on modern tectonic plate geology, right? Or geography, I guess. So there's a major tectonic plate that includes almost all of Asia, and so I found an ancient name for China, which was Washia, and so that that realm became the realm of Washia. So yeah, so I introduced Washian takeout, and that's Lou Bank and Gracie's favorite takeout. Yeah.
That's cool. So mildly, or like sort of modern day real life,
Right.
but adjacent.
Right. Yeah.
But close enough to where some people might even put two and two together, be like, hey,
The geography is, absolutely what
Accurate.
it is.
Yeah.
Yeah. Absolutely accurate.
cool.
Based on tectonic plates. So Yerba City, if you look at the geography really carefully and research it really carefully, you'll see that it's San Francisco. It's the San Francisco Peninsula, right, and the San Francisco Bay.
Cool.
So that's where Yerba City is located geographically. Now, as far as what it's actually like, that's different because things developed differently in my world. But the geography is absolutely the same.
Yeah. Once you add fantastical beasts and magic, things tend
Right.
to
Yeah.
branch off from where we are here.
What it started with was I decided, okay, where do these fantasy beasts come from? I had a troll in my first line, so obviously trolls had to come from somewhere. And I thought, well, they come from hell, of course. Why not? And and so I thought, okay, well, were they brought here? And so I came up with this idea of dragon lords came and 6,000 years ago conquered the entire planet, and they've been here ever since. The same ones. They're like practically immortal for all intents and purposes. They're immortal. I thought, okay. And they divided the world into these 7 realms based on the tectonic plates. I thought, well, if you have one ruler for 6,000 years, then certain things aren't going to change as fast as they ordinarily would. So I thought, okay, technology will progress pretty much as we know it's progressed. So we got modern technology. But things like language customs and other cultural elements will be much slower to change. Well, basically, that was my excuse to be able to use, the language of film noir for my characters, so they could say things like dames and all that.
Whilst using your mobile phone.
Right, exactly. Yeah. So yeah, they got the cell phone, and they're talking like Philip Marlowe. So
Yeah. The lingo is crucial.
yeah.
I love
Yeah.
it. Yeah, no, that was.
I had to find a really good glossary of noir terms, which I found online. found a couple of them.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I'm sure
Yeah.
you did. I'm sure there's more than you need.
Yeah, and of course I read all of Raymond Chandler's books and Dashiell Hammett's books, back when I was like a teenager. So
Listen,
loved them.
You keep making, you keep opening windows to segue into questions that I have.
I got to give you a chance to ask them, don't I?
Yeah. And so we're going to go with this one. But let me just say, not unlike Janny Wirtz, you have a lot going on, and I have way more material here than I will be able to ask you about, for sure.
Yeah, I'm here all night.
You mentioned Raymond Chandler, which brought me to which writers were you most inspired or influenced by? You and oh, by the way, sorry, let me backtrack a slight bit. I got a good many, good bit of material to talk to you about from a questionnaire. I guess it's just right on your website or a Substack, possibly. It must be like 100 questions.
I'm not
that
sure
you
what that
answered.
is. Oh yeah, that was in my Substack. Yeah, and
Yes.
my under the Fedora Substack. Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah.
What writers? You mentioned Joseph Heller, Raymond Chandler, Dashiell Hammett, Roger Zelazny, and Ray Bradbury. Which Ray Bradbury is sci-fi, right?
Sci-fi fantasy. Yeah.
That jumped out at me because kind of just because I wanted to show something off. This is the illustrated guide to Castle Amber, which is
The
from
Zelazny,
from yes.
9 Princes of Amber. Oh yeah.
Did you like those? Was it his I don't remember how many. Is it 9-book series?
Nine. Oh, there's 2 5-book series.
2 5-book. That's right.
Yeah, and the first 5-book series I read probably a dozen times. Every book all the way through.
They're really cool.
And then the second one, the second 5-book series came out, and I didn't like it as much. And but it seemed to me that it was one book that had been divided by the publisher into 5 short books.
Yeah.
And I kind of resented having to buy every copy. And as a kind of form of minor protest, I have never read the last book.
It's been a long time since I've
read but all the others several times.
One day
I'll read it.
I had access to all of them all at once, and so I read them all, and I don't hear them talked about very often. You see Zelazny mentioned, but not a ton.
Especially the first 5 books. The first 5-book series that had a ton of influence on me.
Nice.
That was my favorite set of books for a very long time. Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
And
Joseph
Raymond,
Heller, Catch-22 is my favorite book ever.
You mentioned that, and he's neither. He's
not science fiction and he's not crime. So
and yet
it's just good.
Yeah.
And I think he's influenced me quite a bit just in my writing style. He has this way of kind of setting something up in a benign way and then nailing you with the last sentence of the paragraph. That I find that I enjoy quite a bit.
Yeah.
I try to do that when I can. I can't do it as well as he can, but
for sure.
Yeah, but I try.
On books and authors, another question was, what are your 5 favorite books you've read for the first time over the past 5 years? And some awesome books in there: the Tainted Dominion series, Gunmetal Gods, 36 Streets by T.R. Napper.
That's very good.
Also, Razorblade Tears, The Devil Takes You Home, and the Greenbone Saga.
Yeah.
Which I've read that one. I don't know why. I can't put my finger on what I love about that series, but I've probably read it. Every time a new book came out, I'd read the first and then the second, then I'd read the first, second, third. Then,
Greenbone Saga, the last book in the Greenbone Saga has the end of one of the chapters. I don't want to give anything away.
Sure.
But when I read it, I think that is the first time that tears have ever come into my eyes from reading a book. Yeah. So I was almost because I'm from that sort of cultural mindset. Men don't cry.
Yeah.
And I read that and I was holding it back with all my might. Yeah, it's been a while now.
Oh,
It's
I
the
think
last-
I know. Oh
It's the
gosh, I
last
feel
book
like I
in the
know.
series.
Yeah. Yes.
It has to do with the relationship of the crime boss and his wife,
Yeah.
who was severely injured.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It reminds me of it doesn't. The scene I'm thinking about in the last part of Game of Thrones pales in comparison.
Yeah.
But when Sir Bronn is like, I'm hurt, and you're like, you're dead. You're not hurt. You're dead.
Yeah.
But that struck me this similar.
Yeah.
I know I won't mention names. I know who you're talking. I know what you're referring to.
Yeah. But the
They're really good.
The Greenbone Saga is just extremely well written.
It is the politics
so
and
well written.
and the intrigue and the action. It's just it's a very
and working
satisfying.
in the Shaolin martial arts,
Oh,
and
that.
giving
yeah.
it an explanation for how that can work.
Yeah.
With the enchanted jade.
Yes.
It all works so well for me.
And what's it, Shay, when she comes back home and she finally is like, okay, y'all done turned me back to the old me, and then she goes on a fucking rampage.
Yeah,
awesome.
Yeah.
Yes, very good.
I recommend it very highly.
Me too. And these were barely questions, just kind of comments on this. But like I said, you've given me a lot to talk about and ask about.
Well, those questions that I answered were basically these are the questions I get asked a lot. So here's the answers.
Yeah. And we specialize I strongly try to ask questions that you may not have already answered 100 times.
Go for it.
I try to.
Yeah.
So this interview is now about your teaching career.
Okay, let's go. I love teaching. I've got all kinds of stories. Let me tell you my favorite story, because I figure we're freewheeling and we're all over the map, right?
Yeah.
That's the format of the Four Beardsmen of the Bookpocalypse, right? Okay. So
There's a format.
Homework too.
Yeah, I'll tell you my favorite story when I was teaching. Okay, so I taught an all-girls college prep private school, and the students tended to be from very wealthy, well-to-do families, and I loved them all, but they grew up privileged and entitled. Okay. And my favorite class was my freshman class, 14-year-old girls. And so this one girl one day, blonde, looked like, Alice from Alice in Wonderland. Okay. She came up to me and she said, Dr. Lumsden, we need to get out of class early today. And I said, well, why is that? She said, well, because they're serving clam chowder in a sourdough bread bowl for lunch. And we are in the classroom that is furthest from the cafeteria. So we need a head start so we can get there before they run out. And so let us out 5 minutes early, okay? And she turned around and started to walk away. And I said, yeah, no, we're not going to do that. And it took her about 2 seconds. She stopped. In about 2 seconds, she turned around and she said, did you say no? And I said, yeah, my class runs, it lets out when I say it lets out. And she said, but you can't do that. I said, it's, I make the rules here, And she got down on her knees and she put her hands together and her lower lip came out. And I said, can you make that lower lip quiver? And she did. She made it quiver. And I said, I bet you that works on your parents every time, doesn't it?
Every time.
And she nodded. And I said, well, it doesn't work with me. Sorry. I sent her back to her desk and she glared at me with laser eyes for the entire rest of the class period. And after that day, she was like the best student in the class. Everything she turned in was stellar. She participated in all the discussions. She was like my favorite student from then on.
I was going to ask if it was like if that was the beginning of a villain arc for her.
No. Because what I discovered was that they love to. It's their job to push the envelope, and it's my job to tell them where the line is. And once they know where the line is, that's when they start to respect you. That's when all the relationship starts getting really good. So now if I have any ex-students watching this, they know all my secrets. So.
It must have been some pretty damn good clam chowder, though.
Where was the
I-
college or school?
It was in Monterey, California.
I was going to say, I've been to San Francisco one time, and I absolutely had clam chowder out of a half of a sourdough
Oh yeah,
loaf.
oh
And
yeah.
it was fucking delicious.
Yes, it's one of the
Yeah.
best foods on earth. Yeah, you betcha.
I've never actually eaten clam chowder before that or since. I
Really?
figure I've had the only clam chowder I need to have.
We
And
got a
that's
place
right.
here. We got a place here in Monterey that has the best clam chowder you'll
yeah?
ever eat. Yeah.
Okay.
Although on the east coast they're all just
Oh, I know. I don't.
turning us off now, but
Yeah.
I'm close to Atlanta, so I don't.
up in the northeast.
Yeah. Anywhere
Yeah.
on the over here,
Yeah.
I'm not.
But-
Yeah.
They're wrong. I'm sorry. This clam chowder out here on the west coast.
Well, I did go to Boston once and had an amazing clam chowder.
Yeah.
Is that how you
Chowder.
pronounce it? Chowder.
Oh, it's good. It's good. It's good. It's a cute little clam chowder. Yeah, it's good.
It's
Yeah.
a cute one.
But
Yeah.
they lost marks because I went to sort of Fenrill Hall and all the touristy stuff, which was
Uh-huh.
great because they did a reenactment of like
Oh.
Boston Tea Party, and I got to stand up and be English, be like, "Fee, you must all be taxed," and I got booed. It was a good holiday.
Of course.
I think
But yeah, the food scene
I'm
lost
re-
marks there because I had this like lobster grilled cheese, and there was actual fresh lobster.
Oh,
But-
you get some good lobster.
Yeah, but they paired it with that crappy yellow shit.
Oh no, fake cheese, some freaking
Yeah, fake
I'm
cheese.
reading, I'm reading this down here from Holly Tinsley, where it says, "Never has the difference between U.S. school food and UK school food been more apparent." Oh, the food we had at my school was exceptional. It was exceptional.
I was going to say that's a special school. That's a different
Yeah.
kind of school, Holly. Don't
had
let that
first-class
be
chefs.
the
Yeah.
basis.
It's not. Yeah, it doesn't compare to public school. No.
No.
See, me and
I-
Holly, we went to school not together because we're in different parts of the
Similar
UK.
place.
But
Right.
we had turkey Twizzlers. We lived through that.
Yeah, you're pre Jamie Oliver.
Oh, we had
were.
the best thing we had was pizza shaped like this and chocolate
Yeah.
milk in a little
Oh, yeah.
cardboard carton.
Yeah.
That's
When
That's
I
what
was
we had.
when I was in public school, when I was a kid in public school, that was once a week, and it was the best day of the week. That was the best day of the week. Yeah, when we got
Uh-oh.
to have that pizza square.
I froze, didn't I?
Uh
I thought you were just sitting very
Oh,
still.
yeah.
But yeah,
oh. There you go.
You
There you go.
you're back.
We're back.
Okay.
Yeah, so I think it's
Very
my
quick.
school. I was at boarding school for a long time, so that was mixed.
Mixed bag.
Mixed bag. Yeah, sometimes
yeah.
it's certain, like you said, certain bits were good, other bits not so much. But we always complained that the food was terrible, and then the parents would sometimes come to have functions at school, and they go, "Oh, look, this food's great," and then they discovered. I think after I'd left that the guy who's running the rest of the because it was a 800 kid boarding school, so it was quite big, and they discovered the guy running the restaurant had been selling the good meat and giving people cheap meat. So, for many years,
Corruption in the
my parents would
kitchen.
go, "See, we told you."
Corruption in the kitchen. I got
That's
the plot of my next book now.
There's very little meat in these gym mats.
Yeah.
Is it meat? Is it- Add more salt. No one will know.
Yeah, add sauce, and don't ask
Um,
questions. But yeah, which
Doug, I
sounds
was
a little
gonna-
bit like some of the food that there's a few suspect dishes in your books, Douglas.
I gave Southerland a specific kind of diet, and much of it is based on an old roommate of mine, an old college roommate of mine,
Okay.
who used to wake up every morning and he would get 2 pieces of wheat bread toast, wheat toast, and he would put 2 scoops of peanut butter on them, douse it with honey, and then put vanilla ice cream on the top, and that was his
Good
breakfast
God.
every morning. Yeah,
That's a
sometimes
good
it was
breakfast.
sometimes it was toasted waffles instead of the
Oh
wheat
heck
bread.
yeah!
Yeah, so I gave Southerland that diet, and then I gave him I wanted him to have a bar food, so I because I'm out here in Central California coast where calamari is made, and I don't particularly like calamari myself, but so his favorite bar food is deep fried calamari. So a lot of it is based on what I've run into, but not necessarily what I eat myself. Like I'm not a coffee drinker. I've never
I
liked
was
coffee. Yeah.
I was surprised when I first found that out. I was like, I have actually had the pleasure of having breakfast with Douglas a few years ago in San Francisco.
In San Francisco. Yeah, we had a great time.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I
Were
was
you the guy
this-
who had the ice cream on the toast?
Pardon, say that again?
Was Charlie the one who had ice cream on the toast?
I'm not while I was there, I don't think.
No, we had a few dishes then, but that wasn't.
I like coffee enough to add instant coffee to my coffee.
I got to remember
to
that.
make it
Gotta remember
coffier.
Yeah, coffee. Yes, the coffeeest coffee.
Sutherland has a line whenever anybody offers him cream or sugar, is he always rejects it and he says, "No, I want my coffee to taste like coffee." But I'm gonna have to remember that.
Yeah.
Very
coffee to it. Yeah. The only thing he ever adds is rye whiskey.
That's it. Yeah.
Nice.
He's the classic private dick because he enjoys a cigar as well, doesn't he?
Yeah, from time to time, he and his friend Crawford. That's the were rat we were talking about earlier. So he and Crawford will sit back, kick back, and smoke some cigars. The one thing I didn't want to have Southerland do was smoke cigarettes, even though that's classic noir.
Yeah.
Right. But I figured, I don't know. I think I had a bout of morality come across me at that point.
Yeah.
So I said, I don't want to encourage cigarette smoking. So cigars, the occasional cigar, though, I thought I'll give him that much.
He has enough hazards to his health as it is, I think.
That's true. Yeah, he doesn't live the best lifestyle. Although he does run from time to time.
He does. Yes, yeah. I picked up that. I thought, when you were a runner, I thought, well, there's an element.
Yeah. Well, a lot of my ideas come when I'm running. So I was running one day, and I said, okay, Sutherland's going to have a little bit of this in his life.
Yeah.
You've about 16 different moments. Just there were segues into questions that I can potentially ask you. Starting with something to mention, you were like, yeah, that sounds like a good idea. Okay, jumping off that. So you get an idea and you start writing. You revise while you write. It appears that you write in the afternoon between lunch and dinner.
Yep.
It appears you don't listen to music. If anything, it's the sound of, you can hear Rita practicing piano somewhere distant.
Yep.
I don't know if you use the term chaotic pantser. You may have.
Probably. It's pretty descriptive of how it works for me.
Also, it took you
conversations too, by the way.
Yeah. Oh, mine too. Also, it took you 12 weeks to write your first book. And if any of these details are off,
I wrote them. They're correct.
It took you 12 weeks to finish your first book. So basically, this isn't a question, just a statement. We're kind of complete opposites because it took me 10 years to get my most recent, and it's a duology, which the second's not released. I'm a plotter. I'm a chaotic plotter. Things can slip here and there. I typically have music. I write in the morning. You revise while you're writing so that your first draft is close to your finished work.
Right.
That's Brandon Sanderson does a similar thing.
Well, there's no right way.
There's no, for sure.
Or I should say, there's a right way for each person, but it's not necessarily the same from person to person. Yeah. So
I am very encouraged by the fact that you were retired and 60 plus before you wrote or published a book.
That's why I couldn't wait 10 years to get anything completed.
Yeah.
I was like 67 when I wrote that first book.
A certain George needs to take some notes from you.
And George is doing just fine.
George ain't hurting, is he? He doesn't need anything.
I think part of the problem is George's bank balance doesn't need it. So.
Yeah, no. And some of his early books I think are better than Game of Thrones. So, I love Fever Dream.
Fever Dream. I've heard of a lot.
I read a couple of his wild card series. I think that was
wild card.
The wild card. Those were fun. Those are fun.
Yeah, those are quite fun as well. Like stumbling upon that after Game of Thrones, going, is this the same guy?
Fever Dream was fun because it's about vampires, and I'm not a huge vampire fan myself because it's been so overdone and done so poorly. But Fever Dream is great because you have the vampire who's basically the villain, and you have another vampire who's seeking a more humane way for vampires to live among humans, or to live among humans.
Yeah.
And he discovers that it's the adrenaline in the blood that vampires really crave. That's why they have to hunt their victims and strike when they're most fearful. And he discovers, well, we can introduce adrenaline into like stored blood from blood banks and give vampires everything they want. And the head vampire, the villain, says, that's great. It undoubtedly would work, but we're not going to do that. We like chasing down our victims and making them afraid. So, and I just love that.
That has parallels in modern day, like that's making me think of like 3D printing meat and stuff like just, I don't know.
Yeah.
Right. We can do it, but do we want to?
Do we want to? Yeah, exactly.
It's like that movie where Tommy Lee Jones is chasing down Harrison Ford. He's like, I'm
the fugitive. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't care. I don't care.
I don't care. God, my household loved that movie.
That was the best part of the movie. That's for sure.
Yeah.
Then U.S. Marshals, I think Wesley Snipes and Robert Downey Jr. I think it was kind of like a loose sequel to the movie. Maybe, possibly.
Didn't see it. Yeah.
It's pretty good. Some of the same law enforcement, like so Tommy Lee Jones, some of his partners and stuff.
Yeah. When you were talking about being a chaotic plotter.
Yeah.
The reason that I don't outline my books ahead of time is because I would be, like you say, a very, actually what I am is I'm a very chaotic plotter, which means that as I'm writing the outline, I just think, well, I may as well just go ahead and write the story,
Oh, yeah. Nice.
So by the time I'm done with the outline, I'm actually done with the story too. So it's almost the same thing.
Yeah.
So when you're writing a book like A Troll Walks into Bar or A Witch Steps into My Office, at what point do you know who did it and what happened then?
In actually in both of those first two books, I didn't know who done it until after I had started writing the final scene. And I was writing the final scene, and it worked its way toward the who done it, the who of who done it.
Yeah.
And then after I wrote that, then I had to go back to the beginning and adjust a few things so that it led to that point. So I got to the point, and then I had to go back and adjust to make sure that it all made sense. So in answering the question, at least with those first two books, I had no idea who done it for the entire time I was writing the book until I got to the final scene. I've done that a couple of times. Thing is, if I don't know who did it, then I figure the reader doesn't have much chance of knowing either.
Very little, hopefully.
Yeah. Or if they get to it before I do, maybe they'll let me know so I can finish the book.
Are you at all a fan of Stephen King?
I'm probably going to lose a lot of readers, but no, not really.
Nothing is read out. Nothing is.
I've only read a couple of his. Maybe if I read more of him, I'd be more of a fan.
Right.
I read The Stand and wasn't bowled over. In fact, I couldn't finish. That was a DNF. And I read the one he wrote with Peter Strauss.
Oh yeah.
One of the Tower books.
Talisman or something.
Yeah, The Talisman. That was
Talisman.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I read that one in its entirety, and when I was done, I thought, this is crap. So
I haven't read a ton of it. I find them all to be very readable, but but one of the criticism you hear about him is that the endings sometimes can fizzle and kind of weak endings and the chaotic pantserness. Pantserness. Now it's completely not a word. The fact that he also he'll have an idea.
Right, and he didn't apparently didn't come up with anything when he got to the end. So
I guess not. But it's the genre being horror, so fear along the way, so long as you're nice and scared and disturbed and
Right.
like along the
It
way,
doesn't matter. Yeah,
is
doesn't
different
matter.
than a satisfying. Oh, they did it! I should have known.
Bringing all the threads together,
bringing everything together.
Well, Stephen King has nothing to fear because, as I understand it, his career has been pretty good.
So I heard. I hear a similar thing. I see his name a lot. Whenever whenever your name is at least 3 times bigger than the title of the book on the cover, you might be doing okay.
Or when the movie comes out and his name is bigger than the title of the movie. Yeah.
Yeah.
No
So
matter whether the movie's any good or not.
He's doing fine.
Yeah.
I like his son's books quite a bit.
Hey, what's his son's name?
Joe.
Joe Hill. Yeah,
Joe Hill. Yeah.
He did the
Joe
vampire.
Hill. What an
That was kind of
unassuming
his
name.
breakout Nosferatu.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the one I can't remember the title. The title's short term. You get my age. Sometimes the memories go away. But the one where he puts on a coat and is immediately haunted by a very vicious ghost. I can't remember the title of that book. Yeah, but it was he was like a heavy metal, an older metal musician, a little over the hill, and liked to collect, horrible things, bones and skeletons and haunted things, and so he gets this coat and is immediately haunted by it, which is like driving him to his death. And that book was awesome, and I can't remember the title. Somebody out there knows the title, but I forgot. Yeah, I loved that book, and I thought this is better than anything I read by his father.
That's good.
Yeah.
Sometimes the apple does fall from the tree.
I was thinking
just
that,
far
Charlie.
enough. Just far enough. Yeah, not too far, but just far enough. Right. Yeah.
I want to ask you this because I'm curious. There's no segue to this. This is going to be a jarring left turn.
There's a very important question from someone.
Horns. Yeah, Rita. That's my wife, Rita. She's telling me that Horns is another one by Joe Hill. Yeah, I love that book too. Yeah.
Making a note of that.
Thank you, Rita.
Thank you, Rita.
She's back there.
She just heard you. She wasn't even listening to that.
Yeah.
Okay.
We talk to each other a lot like that. Actually, she'll be back there, and I'll be here, and we'll be sending texts.
I do that. I do that with my kids because they're in their rooms when it's like dinner or this.
Yeah.
We do too.
Yeah.
He's in having full conversations. Oh, good. It's not just me. But,
21st century. It's 21st century.
Exactly. Yeah. It used to be intercom on the wall. That was the fancy thing. Intercom from one room to
another. We had that when I was growing up. Yeah.
All right.
We nearly had Rita as a fourth beadsman when you weren't joining the chat, David. We thought we might have replaced you.
Yeah.
Look, I did trim more of my beard than I meant to, and I was nervous coming on, so I thought I might just hide behind
you've been hiding under the mic. Yeah.
Well,
the beard
Tom is making up for it. So.
Yes. Oh my gosh, isn't he?
He's the Four Beardsmen all by himself.
Yeah, we're another comment.
See, Rita's dishing the dirt.
All the secrets are coming out now.
He's got more lore than I found. I'm sure of it.
Banana muffins.
If we need anything else, we'll let you know.
With dates and mango and not orange. That came out too goopy. Yeah. Oh yeah.
I like a banana. I don't know why. A banana and a protein bar, my double coffee, and I usually have Okay, we're veering,
a post-run meal.
We're veering into the next question that I would. Now it's not a left turn. Now it's a proper segue. Okay.
Now we got there. All right.
We did it. I found your fitness and diet routine on your Substack.
Yeah.
There's only one metric that I have that's slightly marginally. I'm not going to say better than your regular. I have to drink instead of 48 ounces of water. It's closer to 100 for me, but that's just because I'm in Georgia. And I work outside, and we work out outside.
It's a little hotter and a little more humid there.
A little bit,
in the Central California coast, which is paradise. Yeah.
Oh, it is. I saw. Oh, God, that brings me to a hilarious question. I had to test the water first. I consider the water tested. Give me a sec. Where is it at? God, I hope I wrote this shit down, please. Yeah. Sorry. Okay, you made a post. This was Instagram. We're veering over to thing. I'll come back to the fitness thing. because I have a serious question.
Okay. I have a serious answer.
On January 14th, 2024, you posted that it appeared to be overcast and 60 degrees every day all week. This is January 14th, so
Right.
winter time for us
Right.
over here.
Yeah.
The text with this, and it was a screenshot of the weather.
Yeah. Yeah.
The text said, looks like it's going to be cloudy and 60 degrees this week. There was one comment. Are you familiar with where I'm going with this or no?
I think so. Somebody told me that I was tone deaf.
There was one comment that said, seriously? Not sure what you're trying to say with this, but seeing as me and thousands more are facing going out and hoping our cars start because it's 10 below zero, not to mention 55 degrees in my house, your little forecast seems a bit tone deaf.
Tone deaf.
So my only question is, how could you?
You know, I thought of just repeating the post, just to make sure they got it right. You know?
You said nothing, which was the very best answer,
Yeah,
surely.
Yeah. I was so tempted to.
I
respond to that
bet.
post.
If you're
I was
anything
so
like me,
tempted.
probably 100,000 hilarious answers came to mind, and you chose the high ground, which props to you, because I probably wouldn't have. I probably would have had to. What part? Like, you must be super mad at the Weather Channel. If that right there triggered you, you must fucking hate the Weather Channel. Sorry.
Yeah, I'm glad you brought that up. Actually, I'm glad somebody actually saw that. Yeah, because I still think about that.
Yeah, that was so weird. I'm like, how huge is this author that he has he can get hate from stating the weather, the weekly forecast, restating.
Now, I will have to admit that the whole reason I posted that is because I had been reading about how people were freezing in all these other parts of the country. And I'm like, not here.
It gets as cold as 60 and it gets as hot as 70 degrees, I guess.
Yeah. We are any day of the year, 365 days a year, right? Any day of the year could potentially be 55 to 57 degrees. And
y'all have it made where that's concerned.
Yeah. And cloudy, windy in the afternoon, but pretty calm in the morning, which makes it perfect for running.
Oh, I
in
bet.
The morning.
That's
now that I'm retired, I can run in the morning. So, because my perfect running climate is like high 50s, cloudy, no wind or very light breeze, and then running by the water, running by the ocean.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm never going to move.
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
It sounds kind of perfect for that.
Yeah.
Luckily, I enjoy sweating profusely. My wife and I, we did a workout real fast, and it was in the garage. The fan was turned on. It's 90 degrees here. Feels like 98, and the humidity is probably. Well, it just rained. I just heard it raining. It was the sun was shining while we were working out. Now, it's almost a rainforest where we are.
I lived in Atchison, Kansas for 4 years, right on the Missouri River. And I always described that. I lived there for 4 years. And I always described it as hell or hell freezes over. Because in the summertime, it would be 113 degrees, almost 100% humidity.
Yeah.
And just absolutely miserable. And then in the wintertime, it would get to be like 20 degrees, talking Fahrenheit here.
Yeah.
And
only I speak this language right now.
Right. So
I'll bring up my formula and
I need a converter for sure.
113, we're talking what, 35 Celsius, something like that, 35, 36, 37, somewhere in there. Yeah. And then 20 degrees would be like 12 degrees Fahrenheit under freezing. Yeah.
Well done.
So there would be about 2 weeks in the spring and maybe 4 weeks in the fall that were livable.
You could open the window.
Livable temperatures. Yeah. Well, in the summertime, I couldn't go outside because I would want to wear cutoffs and short sleeves. But these horse flies that were about this big would come swarming in, and they would just land on my skin, and then they would just start gnawing at me. And I'm thinking, what are you doing? As I slap them, as I crush them on my skin.
Yeah.
But you can't. But it's too hot and too humid to go out with clothes on. With your skin covered. So I just stayed indoors. Couldn't go outside in the summertime at all.
There is a couple of weeks in the springtime. It's probably, some people would find it to be more than a couple of weeks, where I have to get some off bug spray and just get my ankles. And it's the mosquitoes. They don't.
Yeah.
They eat some people alive. I feel like the longer you're in a place, the less delicious you are to the bugs. That's the only solution I can think of.
I'm gonna really piss you off now. Okay, we have no mosquitoes.
Oh, that's fine. I get
in
it.
Monterey.
I get it.
None. Well, the person who was mad at me because it was 60 degrees. Okay,
Yeah.
she's gonna be really upset to hear this.
Double,
Okay?
you'll have done it now.
Your
Don't you know
first
about
book was-
malaria?
Malaria is the biggest cause of death in the entire world.
Yeah.
In the history
Right.
of
Read
the
the
world,
room.
malaria. Yeah, read
Yeah.
the room. Read the room.
This
How
isn't so
could
much
you
a
not
troll
have
walked into a
mosquitoes?
bar, it's a troll walked into our podcast.
Podcast.
Yeah, that's the line we should have gone with.
At one time I was kind of trollish in social media, and I got tired of flame wars. I was very early in on this, and I got tired of those, and so I've been much more polite since then.
But you actually went viral. I remember.
I did. Yeah.
That was when you were not being a dickhead online. You were actually being nice.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I'm glad you brought that up. I was reading. I was just on Twitter in my author persona for just a couple of months. My third book had just come out. And I was just starting to get a little bit of attention. I had 68 Twitter followers at that time and 40-something Instagram followers. And I was on Twitter, and these two authors, I don't remember who they were anymore, but they were discussing the fact that they had been devastated by the fact that they had not written a bestseller by the time they turned 30 years old. Mm-hmm. And they were over it now, but they said when they turned 30 and they didn't have a bestseller yet, they were devastated by that. And I'm sitting here, I was 69 years old, right? And I'd written my first book 2 years earlier. And I thought, well, that's the most ridiculous thing I've ever heard. So I wrote, for what it's worth, I was 43 when I got my PhD. I was 51 when I got my dream job, which was teaching at the private high school that I was talking about. I was 53 when I married the love of my life, Rita. I was 55 or 54, one or the other, when I ran 55, I think, when I ran my first marathon. And I was 67 when I had my first book published, self-published, but it's a published book, right? Mm-hmm. And I was 69 then. This was in 2021. And I said, I turned 70 next year and I can't wait. And so I posted that. And then I went off and did a treadmill workout, about an hour. And I came back and I said, I wonder what's going on Twitter. And I opened up Twitter and I had like 100 notifications, 100 plus notifications. And the post had just exploded. And all these people, adding me, friending me or whatever they call it.
I bet I saw it. I bet I saw that post.
Maybe so. Because then it went to Instagram. Somebody screenshot it and put it on Instagram. And then the Oprah people found it. And they broadcast, and all these other people on Instagram, famous guys, they reposted it. Next thing I knew, I had millions. I had like 8 million views. I had more than 200,000 likes on Twitter, and a whole bunch on Instagram, and the thing just blew up. And I thought, in fact, it got to be annoying because I wanted to respond to everybody who was responding to it, and after like about 110 or so, I just gave up.
You can't keep up with it.
No, I couldn't keep up. And because it was expanding exponentially, and that thing still comes up. I still get get that reposted sometime. I'll get on.
I'm sorry. Did you observe the movement of your book sales at all during that time?
I think it did have an effect, maybe a slow one. It was at that time I wasn't selling very much, but a couple of months earlier, my third book had come out, like I said. And it was starting to take off a little bit. So I was starting to, hey,
Awesome.
Holly, I was starting to increase my sales significantly when that hit, and then so that arc continued, and I did have like my 2 best years after that. So, and I have to think that quote had a lot to do
Had
with
something
that.
to do with it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
had something to do with it. Anyway,
Yeah.
I don't know how much, because like I said, I was
Right.
already starting to find a following.
It's impossible to know, probably.
Yeah, I can't know. In fact, that answers a bigger question that people ask a lot, which is, what marketing tips do you have? What works? I have no idea. I have no idea. My books did pretty well for a couple of years, and I don't know why. And maybe that post had something to do with it, at least at the beginning.
Maybe.
Yeah, but it kind of took off. I had my 15 minutes of fame, and things have leveled off since then. But I have no idea what worked. And I wish I knew, because I would tell everyone if I had the secret.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
I know that some people on Twitter are that seems to be at least part of, if not a good bit of their whole Twitter strategy, is to find that nerve that gets one of their posts skyrocketed.
And it didn't hurt. I'll say that it didn't hurt.
Sure.
It just happened with John Douglas, and now he's a meme.
John Douglas is what I was thinking
Orc
about.
City.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, Orc City.
Yeah,
I don't know what the backstory of that was.
He had I think it was a Star Wars post he just randomly commented on in his classic, very abrasive style, and then just a load of people started getting his book, reading the first line.
I did see
ripping it
that.
to shreds.
Yeah.
It's a perfectly functional first line of a book, but
he got all this negative response to it, which negative response is just as good as positive response. When
I was just about to quote somebody
Yeah.
famous just then. Hold on. Let me quote somebody real fast, real quick. Are you upset at all by 1-star reviews? Not at all. 1-star reviews are far better than no reviews at all. I like all my reviews. Bring them on.
That's
that
me.
being Douglas Lumsden.
Yeah. And I totally, completely, and honestly believe that. I think that you get a lot of authors. It boggles my mind. I can't understand why people react this way. But you'll get an author, especially new authors, but even some more experienced ones, and they'll get a negative review and they just come apart. You can't do that to me. You can't do that to me. You're a reviewer. It's your responsibility to promote my books. And no, it really isn't. Okay, it really isn't.
Weird. Yeah.
Yeah, it is very weird. And you reviewers, I know you go through a lot of tough responses sometimes from authors.
I've seen that.
As an author, I'm just embarrassed by that. I'm just embarrassed by it. If you're an author out there and somebody gives you a bad review, ignore it. It doesn't matter. In fact, it's bad reviews are good. Bad reviews work.
Bad reviews are reviews.
They're reviews. And that's the thing, is that as a reader, I am more likely to read a book based on no other factors that's been reviewed a lot, whether it's good or bad reviews, than a book that has had no attention at all.
I'm still waiting for some 1-stars for Violence and Vigilance. So if anybody watching, anybody reading,
I'll give you one.
Bro, bring him on.
A second, I'm
My
going out
strategy-
now.
My
So
strategy,
Charlie, don't touch your review, Charlie. Yours is fine as is.
my strategy, or my way of looking at it, is that total number of stars is far more valuable than the average number of stars. So
Agreed.
if you give me a 1-star review, hey, that's another star I can put on my list. Okay, my total has gone up. Okay,
Yes.
so I welcome. No matter how many stars you want to give me, that's better than no review at all. Because no review is 0 stars, and I benefit. I don't benefit at all by that.
Well,
Exactly.
I've heard it said that reviews aren't for authors.
Exactly. Yeah,
Right.
reviews aren't for authors, but authors benefit by them.
Of course they do. Absolutely. Yeah. I mean,
But they benefit by any review. It doesn't
Yeah.
matter if it's good or bad. You're going to benefit by somebody being affected enough by your work to put some stars on the board or to comment on it, even if it's negative. yeah. I remember Harry Crews is an author that I like, and one of his books, Feast of Snakes, was once called like the most reviled book in American literature. So of course I had to read it, and I thought it was a wonderful book, but yeah, it's sickening and it turned your stomach, and the people who read it and were just absolutely turned off by it, they're probably right. But Harry Crews' response was, basically, hey, any response is a good response. And I would be very suspect of this book if it had gotten nothing but good reviews. I'd be wondering about the people who are reading my books.
Yeah, who were paid, the people who were paid to do that.
Or how twisted are they that they would think?
Okay, that's a segue to a serious question. I read a book.
Go for it.
While writing villains, I sometimes look for real life villains, and I expose myself to their brains by reading their books. And to not completely murder myself, in society, I won't list every book that I've ever, but there's a book called Might is Right by an author who goes by, I think it's a pseudonym, Ragnar Redbeard or something like that. And it's basically, it's essentially like, if you can take it, take it. It's just like nature times a million, minus any kind of empathy or mercy, and it's like, look at the world. This is how the world just works. Just do this. And it's very brutal. So my question is, what's your thoughts on separating the art from the artist?
Yeah, that is a good, serious question, isn't it?
Yeah, I'm sorry.
No, that's fine, because I was just talking about this with my mother-in-law the other day, actually. Rita's mother, who reads my books, and she's 90 years old now, and she's like, "You're such a nice guy, How come the people in your books are so repulsive? and where does all this violence come from?
Where'd it come from?"
Yeah. And when I was in second grade, I found a book somewhere. I don't even remember where. I might have been laying around the school, but it was all these unadulterated fairy tales. The unedited fairy tales where giants find little kids and grind them into bread and eat them for dinner and that sort of thing. So I was in second. Yeah. So I was in second grade and I was reading these. I was just fascinated by it. I just loved them. I had no desire to emulate the behavior, but it just really struck a chord. And so my teachers caught me reading this book, and they called my parents in, and they said, "Are you aware of what your son is reading?" And they looked at it and they said, "Yeah, this is terrible stuff, but he's in second grade. We're just happy he's reading." So if that's what interests him, then that's fine. We'll monitor the situation. We'll make sure he's not having nightmares. He's not acting out in ways we don't want. But it's just reading, right? So I guess in a roundabout way, what I'm saying is that I don't know if it's separating the art from the artist, but it's separating maybe the artist's behavior from thoughts that are in his head. I mean, everybody has nightmares from time to time, right? Everybody's got something roaming around inside their head somewhere. It's just a matter of how you're going, if you're going to, and how you're going to express it. I just kind of like expressing it in writing. So.
Yeah. Right, because this guy Ragnar, whatever, I think he might have been a scumbag. I think he might have been a real life kind of piece of shit.
Well, that's very possible.
But the book was so good on as far as like getting some kind of just conqueror point of view.
Yeah.
Gold.
But and
I did not enrich his estate by accumulating this particular book, and I'll leave it exactly that far.
It always leads to the idea of like boycotts, right? People boycott Amazon because they don't like the owner of Amazon, and I'm thinking, how can you go through your life doing that? Because at the top of every food chain, you're probably going to run into somebody who's pretty scummy. You're going to run into the shark. At the very top, you're going to run into the shark, right?
Yeah.
And where do you draw the line?
But if it's a good product, you know,
Yeah. Well, you hurt the authors there. You're not hurt. Bezos isn't going to miss you not buying 2 books that month.
No.
With his
No.
many
Have to
billions
do
already.
something different to affect Bezos or
yeah, right,
or that
exactly.
type.
Yeah. Believe me,
Name your next bad character.
yeah, believe me, he doesn't notice these boycotts.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My dad was a bit of a boycotter back in the day, and it never made sense to me. But that's just because I was a kid. And the things, frankly, I didn't share his values, and I don't today. Not that God rest him, but we didn't see eye to eye on stuff. But even still, boycotts of that nature. Now, do I like do soft, unspoken boycotts myself?
Sure.
Will I not buy a thing? Yeah, I'll absolutely be like,
Especially if it's local, like a local
Yeah.
circle, you know.
Yeah.
Locally, I'd rather support this guy than that guy.
yes,
Okay.
Yeah,
100%.
definitely. Yeah.
I can do that. Yeah, I can
Could
do
be a
that.
boycott. Listen, I want to ask a question that I tried to ask you some time ago.
And I wouldn't let you.
Right.
I'm just gonna go
Regarding
with
the
Hannah
fitness.
to What was the last thing you each boycotted?
Oh boy.
I want to know.
You know, having said everything I said, there was not this boycott of Amazon, but one of the earlier ones. I did go a month without buying anything from Amazon. So I did do it one time.
I like the idea of a concentrated effort of like, what if humanity didn't spend on Amazon for 1 week or 1 month? How much of a shit show would that stir up?
When we're talking Amazon, probably none.
Maybe none. Maybe none.
He can survive a year with nobody buying.
Yeah.
He'll be just fine.
The Prime deal would be crazy because that's them just clearing out their freaking basement anyway. The Prime deals that would come with that.
No, I can't live without Amazon Prime. Sorry.
Yeah.
Sorry, all you guys out there.
I hate it because
think
they're adding commercials to their streaming shows,
I
and
know, I hate that.
I just got to roll over. It's that, or I don't
hate it.
watch Fallout or whatever.
Yeah, but I'm learning to tune it out. I know where the mute button is. I'm on that mute
for
button
sure.
real fast. Yeah.
100%.
I think my last boycott was probably a cafe. If I got bad service, then I'm like,
I'm on the fence about boycotting D-Brand for a little bit. The phone case makers. It's too boring a story to go into. We're not even going there. I ordered a thing. I canceled it within 4 hours.
Well, there's having a preference, which is not really a boycott.
No, and this is me. I love them.
I have strong preferences.
They're too pricey, and if they play nice, then there won't be a boycott. There won't be a silent boycott. But if they don't, there's going to be a very silent boycott.
I got an answer for you, Tom. I boycotted Xfinity Cable. I boycotted them because their customer service was horrible. So I dumped them completely and got a smart TV instead. So there is my that's it. I'm boycotting Xfinity. It's not a real boycott. It's just a preference. I don't prefer them anymore.
Yeah.
Well,
one man's boycott is another man's preference.
That's right. Yeah. So I'm counting that. So Xfinity, I have boycotted you, Xfinity. Because of your customer
there goes
service.
our sponsorship deal, but we'll take it.
So we're hemorrhaging subscribers here.
They'll probably fall now. They'll fall.
That's it for them.
That's it for them. Hey, my post went viral. Okay, so I got influence.
Yeah, absolutely. And good comment from Holly. Yeah, let's buy.
Activity versus inactivity. That's a good point, Holly.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm actually going to ask it this time. All right. So regarding your fitness routine and so on, I'm obsessed enough with fitness to where I bet you and I could talk for a good long while. Although I don't run, I need to. I don't even walk. I need to.
Movement is the key.
Now I do. Yeah. I God, my wife, if she can hear me, she's rolling her freaking eyes right now. But I do every morning. I have a 15-minute mobility. And it's not lifting; it's just mobility, so that I maintain the ability. And at the end of the day, I try to get in some actual stretching, like some real, 90-second holds, and at least 3 or 4 times a week, she and I lift weights. Which today was leg day, which the stairs were brutal after that. Yeah. Not the point. What my point is, what good would you say walking, running, or lifting does for you as a writer, as a person your age, as a human being?
It's
whatever?
huge. It's huge. I get most of my best ideas for writing when I'm either walking or running outside. Something about moving outdoors that opens up. I can wake up. I wake up sluggish every morning. Okay. And very little is working. And I get outside.
You should get
and
into
start
coffee.
moving.
I'm kidding.
Yeah, that might be it. I just don't like. I don't have any philosophical opposition to it. I just don't like the.
It's a
taste.
crutch.
Yeah,
It's a crutch.
but I tried when I was
said.
in high school, senior in high school. I tried drinking coffee in all kinds of different ways, and then one day I realized, you know what? I just don't like it, and so I stopped. So
It's
instead,
only a crutch.
I said instead I drink Pepsi Colas. I used to drink like an 8-pack of Pepsi Colas every day
That's
for a
not better.
while. Now I know, and then after having about 4 or 5 teeth pulled.
Yeah.
When I was in my 40s and 50s, I said, "Yeah, okay, I better not do that anymore." But anyway, so getting out and moving somehow fires the neurons, and the ideas just pour in. I get more ideas from being outside and moving than from anything else, from everything else combined. Especially
And Charlie, do y'all, that is such a close mirror to Janny Works' answer just regarding.
Yeah.
Definitely.
If Rita's with me, then I can bounce the ideas off of her, and then
Oh, nice.
then it's just like exponentially grows.
You don't know how blessed you are for that. When I bounce ideas
Oh,
off,
I do know.
He
I
does
drink tea. I do. I love tea. Yeah. But it's not caffeinated. Okay, it's not
Really?
caffeinated tea. Yeah.
Rita, is it caffeinated?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sound in. If I bounce ideas off my wife, they make her eyes kind of glass over. And,
Oh no. No, I fully realize how blessed I am.
yeah.
Because Rita is not only my inspiration. I bounce my ideas off of her. She gives me ideas, but she's also my co-editor.
Yeah.
And so I don't hire an editor.
Also blessed.
Yeah. And because they're expensive, and Rita, I
Yeah,
always say
they
Rita
are.
works for free. Rita works for free, except
She works for tea. You make her.
Yeah,
You
yeah, that's
make her
right.
tea.
I make her tea or coffee, more coffee now. But I always say she works for free. But in fact, all my royalties go into a joint account. So
Oh yeah. So
So
she's
she
not
has-
working for free.
she has access to all.
One-
Of it.
100%.
There's a vested interest there to make
Well,
For
she-
sure.
She's much better at handling money than I am too. So, she used
Bro,
to
you
work
and
for a
me are the
mortgage
same.
company.
Aside from our writing skills, my wife, she holds the reign. She holds the keys
Yeah.
to the castle for sure.
Yeah. No,
Uh,
I let her run all that stuff.
Yeah.
But and then the weights. I'm falling behind a little bit on the weights. I try to do it 3 times a week, but it's getting more like 2 times a week now. But I shoot for 3. But that I think is just for show, at least for me. Because one day, a few years ago, I looked in the mirror. I kind of stretched. I looked in the mirror. I said, "Oh my God, I got twigs for arms. This is horrible." And so I first I joined the gym, and then COVID hit, and then I bought
Ouch.
bought some dumbbells. But so that's more a vanity thing. I think,
Yeah, but
at least for me.
vanity, that is some amount of wellness as far as confidence, as far as your
Yeah,
feeling good
absolutely.
about yourself.
Yeah, I'm up to 3 sets of 60 push-ups a day now.
I
So-
knew it was 50. 60 is a lot.
It's up to
50 is a
60
lot.
now. Yeah, it's up to 60 now. I think I'm gonna top out there. I don't think it's ever gonna get any better than that. But I said that at 52.
shoot.
So
Yeah.
yeah. But
That's how I started. I started doing push-ups every single day, and then
yeah.
I took it to a very extreme place where I was doing push-ups and pull-ups brutally for 6 days a week, and I blew
Yeah.
out both shoulders and both my knees,
Yeah.
and then and leaping lunges and jumping squat, and so I
I was doing pull-ups, but they were really hard on the elbow
Yeah.
joints. Yeah.
I've
I had to stop those.
I've moderated my again, just I'm not as young as I once was.
I've got no excuse because there's so many ways
You're-
to lying around the house.
Yeah,
My
you
wife's a
need
personal trainer.
to read the room here. 73 years old. Okay.
I can say, well, so next question related and anecdotal perhaps. I I lift and deliver kayaks during the summertime as a day job.
Okay.
A couple of Sundays ago, it wasn't the initial injury, but I injured my back. I was pulling a kayak off a trailer. It was a tandem kayak, so 68 pounds
the
dry,
twisting.
and I was twisting.
Yeah.
And I felt something go doink,
Uh-oh.
and I said, "Fuck!" I knew that. First off, July is the worst time, and I've hurt my back before. This good thing is I'm taking care of myself these days. The mobility and all that kind of stuff, I'm better suited. My core is better in a better position to deal with injuries. And so I'm 2 weeks out. It still hurts. I'm still compromised. I'm not at 100%.
You gotta recover.
Yeah.
Actively recover.
So, okay. Question being, where is it? Regarding movement. If something like injury or illness stops you or sets you back, is it hard to get back into it? And does that affect your writing?
I don't think it affects my writing, and it is not hard to get back into it, although it feels like starting over.
Yeah, it does.
If I injure my foot, for example,
Yeah.
and I can't run for a few weeks,
Yeah.
My mood really sours.
Oh, mine does too.
Yeah.
I get almost depressed. Like it feels like
Yeah.
actual clinical depression.
When I've had long-term injury, like I had probably, probably last year I half what I would normally do for the year. Like I just had to back hook a knee.
Yeah.
I had a slight tear in the meniscus in my knee. Not bad enough to operate on, but you can't make a heel faster. The only you do is not run on it. So it was that balance between running on it enough to tick that box and get that feeling, and not to the point where it's and just admit it, just take on it's gonna hurt.
Well, running changes you. I mean, my foot size increased by a size and a half.
Good grief!
When I started running, my heartbeat slowed from the low 70s to the high 40s when I was at my peak of running. Now it's closer to the high 50s, but
it does.
So it changes you physically.
Yeah. I think it makes your bones denser as well.
It does,
makes your
absolutely.
bones heavier.
Absolutely does, yeah.
But
And
definitely
so when you stop for a while, getting back into it is like starting over.
Yeah.
Yeah. Although
you
you will get back to where you were more quickly,
right?
Than you think.
Than you expect.
That's true.
Yeah.
No, absolutely.
Rita always says you can do more than you think you can. She's my running coach too. So, she used to run marathons. Yeah, she's done ultras. So.
If I was going to say, even on an ultra or a marathon, nothing like that, your mind is telling you to stop a lot earlier than you're physically.
You just have to. Yeah, you have to say no. I'm going.
Okay, are you a segue question, and we'll veer off fitness and all that here shortly, I'm sure. Do you know who David Goggins is?
David Goggins. I should know.
If y'all are runners, I'm surprised you don't. He's like a military Navy SEAL, kind of like
Rita knows.
Oh, for sure. Extreme, like ultra marathon runner.
Wait, yeah, I know. Yeah, okay. Yeah, she has follows him.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure.
Just the most.
She's got to weigh in now. She's got to tell me if I know him or not.
The most profuse coach you'll ever have. Yeah. He can't say a sentence.
He's the guy I'm thinking of. Yeah.
Yeah, without dropping the F-bomb at least several times. Who's going to carry the boats? That's his.
Oh, here we go. Sorry.
It's true. Yeah, I know now. I remember him now. Yeah. She shows me his workout routines all the time.
Yeah. Good God. I've never
them on YouTube.
I gotta pause him now and then. He's more intense than any other human being.
Oh yeah. There's
living
no way
that I know of.
There's just no way. Yeah. The stuff he does is insane.
I think about his quotes though. If I'm pulling a canoe through a jungle by myself, I hear his voice. Who's going to carry the boats? I guess it's fucking me. I guess it's going to be me, David.
Yeah, he's insane. Yeah. But in a good way.
For sure.
But you were asking if you're not working out, does it affect my writing? And I think it does. Yeah, I have to be in the right mood, and if I'm if my exercise routine has been, there we go. If my
Yeah.
if my
His ears are
exercise
burning.
routine has been interrupted, then that kind of affects my mood, and it makes it harder. It really does.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Me too. Okay. I'm digging through all this buttload of. Oh, I want to tell you this before I forget, because I didn't write this down. I just wrote down the genre. One of your answers to a question, noir-ish, urban fantasy mystery with elements of horror.
Yeah.
Do you know that also perfectly describes Who Framed Roger Rabbit?
I love that movie. I didn't read the book. I love the movie.
The movie is great, and the horror obviously is the dip. And dude, when he goes
Right,
half tune.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Oh yeah, and the tunes are terrified of it, of course.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was another one I had to test the water to see how you would react to such a comparison, and I felt
I love it. I love it.
and bite my head off.
Oh no, I don't bite heads off. My characters do. I don't.
Some more than others.
Some of them live for it. Yeah.
Yeah.
This one is not a question, but in the same questionnaire you mentioned themes that you write about, and I don't know the most polite way of saying I trust a person talking about themes more the more years they've been on Earth.
Yeah.
Especially when it comes to certain things. Themes you mentioned: justice in the sense of balancing debts, which is an interesting one. Paying and collecting what's owed, professionalism, and then existential nihilism, which open parenthesis, creating personal values and worth in a universe with no inherent purpose or meaning. That's kind of just grimdark. That right there is kind of
yeah. I love grimdark.
Yeah, I do too.
Yeah.
I just like those themes, and I trust that a person with a doctorate who's seen and been and done things for as long as you have to have a level of mastery over those, or at least something to say.
Or at least something to say. I don't know about
Yes.
mastery, but I do have opinions.
Yeah.
I think you have to start from a point of view of, how would I know? How do I know? What do I know? Okay.
That's my stance on a lot of things.
I loved what Joseph Hiller said once. Somebody asked him about the afterlife, and he said, "I don't care about the afterlife." And he said, "Why don't you care about the afterlife?" He says, "Because I don't know anything about it." And so since I don't know anything about it, I'm not qualified to have an opinion about it. But I do know about what's going on around me now. And so that's what I worry about. And I'm just paraphrasing him. He said something like that. And I was very impressed by that. I like that quite a bit.
That's good.
So I thought, okay, is there meaning in the universe? I don't know. Nothing that I can identify. Maybe there is, I'm not discounting it. But since I don't know, then I figure if I'm going to have any meaning in my own life, well, I'm going to have to figure out what it is for myself.
Yeah.
And so my characters are a lot like that. Southerland especially is a lot like that.
Yeah.
He's at the end, without giving anything away, at the end of Troll, he's asked about being a drop of water in the ocean. Which is a Buddhist thing, right? You're the drop and you're the ocean all at the same time. He's asked about that, and his response is, "I don't know about these things. I just want to do what I can for the immediate environment around me," which is very close to what Voltaire says in Candide. The end of it is, I don't know if all these things have led us to where we are or not. All I know is we all have to go out and work in the garden. So, and his message basically is, if we all just tend to the things that we have some kind of control over, contribute what we can to our immediate surroundings, everybody does that, we're probably headed in the right direction. So
yeah,
that's kind of my way of looking at things.
I dig that.
Yeah, no, it makes a lot of sense.
And then the whole professionalism thing comes from Raymond Chandler and Dashiell Hammett. His characters are just supremely professional. Think about Sam Spade. his partner dies, and he's like, the police are like, well, I bet you really want to know who did this. Yeah, whatever. He wasn't a great man, but he was my partner, so I do need to figure this out. So, yeah, so I like that whole kind of worldly professionalism in my characters. They all do.
Cool.
They all do what it is that they're supposed to do, or what they think they're supposed to do, and in their own way, making their own rules. So I like that in my characters. It's intriguing. I'm not sure I live my own life that way or not, but I do like it in my characters.
It is a good character trait for sure. Consistency,
Yeah.
versus just flippantly, well, wow, that was surprising,
I did come up with that concept of justice specifically for Sutherland, but I kind of like it, which is he sees the world in kind of an organized way, really, which is that if you do a favor for somebody, they are supposed to return it. If somebody gives you something, then you're supposed to pay them back. And he kind of periodically throughout all of the 7 Sutherland books, he runs into that concept of I owe this, or this person owes. Why are you doing this for this guy? You don't even like him. Well, I owe him. He did this, so I have to do this.
Yeah.
And
but I also like the fact that he looks to take some minute pleasure to enjoying. So you might be in the this guy's office is probably trying to kill you, but if he's got good whiskey,
right, exactly, yeah, yes, yeah. I mean, there's a good trait there, right? I mean, none of my characters ever really see good or evil. It's like you say, okay, yeah, he's going to shoot me in a second, but the whiskey is really good. I'm going to have at least one sip before I go. Yeah,
there isn't really good or evil in your books. It's just characters with very clear motivations.
Yeah, people. Yeah, you're exactly right. I mean, people ask me about that from time to time. Heroes and villains. There are no heroes or villains in my books, and that's intentional. And
I like that. I like that in characters too.
I like that in other people's books too. Yeah.
Definitely. I think we said it before. It's like most, and even in the real world, very rarely do you read a good book where the villain is, I'm a bad guy.
I'm evil.
Yeah. I revel in my villainy.
I'll be evil.
I hate that every time. Yeah, I hate that every time I see it.
It's like they're just willing to do things that others aren't to achieve
they
their aim or protect their
they're
people.
the good guy in their own minds.
Yeah.
They're what they're doing is what ought to be done, and by God, they're going to do it.
Yeah.
By whatever means necessary. And I think, really, I think most people are like that. So
that's making me think of some of the Gunmetal Gods. There are some things that happened in that book that are just.
I just finished Dark Drinker. Yeah.
I have not. I've only read the first.
Oh,
and good God, some of the stuff that happens in that, I had to take a little break.
Oh man, the next Gunmetal Gods was great, and then Conqueror's Blood was better, and then the third book, Epic. What's it called? I can't remember what it's called now. New Epic or Dark Epic. I can't remember now. But anyway, it's better yet. And then Dark Drinker. I can't say whether it's better or not because it's so different.
Elder Epoch. Just the third one.
What's that?
Elder Epoch.
That's
Elder Epoch. That's right.
Yeah, Elder Epoch. Yeah, that I just blew me away. I couldn't read another book for a week. And then I just finished Dark Drinker, and Dark Drinker is different in tone than the others in many ways. It's focused differently.
Yeah.
And you can't really compare it to the others as far as being better or worse because it's
too different.
It's too different. Yeah, it has its own value in itself that can't be compared to the other books. But it blew me away pretty much. I haven't read a book since. It's been a few days.
Nice.
Yeah.
It does suck when a book ruins you for other books. That is kind of it's awesome and it's not. I feel like Joe Abercrombie has done that to me. Red Rising, the trilogy, the initial trilogy did that to me just because everything else it was in present tense, which first felt gimmicky, and then after I finished that trilogy, I couldn't read. Everything felt so dusty and dated.
Yeah.
I was over there. I was doing that. Were you? the history book. It got out of it, but that's why Violence and Vigilance is in present, because it was so immediate, and especially by the third book when shit's going down, craziness.
Well, here's something that not many people know, but I just a couple of weeks ago I finished a short story, 9,000-word short story, Cosmic Horror, and I wrote it in second person present.
Oh, nice!
And I just did it because I wanted to see if I could.
Yeah.
It came out pretty good, but I don't know if it ever. We're trying to get it to see the light of day. I'm working with Sebastian Weiss on that. We're trying to make it. We're trying to make it see the light of day. So we'll see if it ever does.
As its own thing, or will it be part of something?
Well, we're still working on it. So I don't know what the future of that is yet. Yeah, but hopefully to see the light of day in some form or another. Yeah.
Excellent. I hope so. Yeah.
So that was just a total experiment for me. But you brought up tenses, and of course, writers like to get in these big arguments about trivial matters. And one of the trivial matters they like to get in big arguments about is tenses. Third person universal. It's the only tense I'll read. First person. That's the best. Or I won't read it at all. And to me, I read a book, and when I'm done, and you ask me, I probably couldn't tell you what tense.
If it's done well, it
exactly.
works.
Yeah.
I think I'm the same. When people started about tense, I said, I'm not even sure if I know what they mean.
Yeah. I've read a couple of books in second person, and people have big opinions on second.
They really
person
do.
Tense. And
present tense in fantasy.
Yeah. But second person for cosmic horror, I think works great. I think it works great.
No, it sounds like it would. It would.
Yeah. You experienced this, and then you experienced that, and then this came to you, and it really puts you in the middle of the horror. I think it works wonderfully.
Yeah, that sounds interesting.
Yeah, especially in present tense. You are doing this. You are experiencing this.
On this same thread, one of the questions was, what POV do you write in? You said my first series was written in first person. Current series is third person POV, tightly focused on my lead character, so almost first person. That's how when I read First Law Trilogy, it was third person POV, tightly focused on the lead character, whoever's voice we're in.
Yeah.
And it was for some reason. It was revolutionary for me.
Yeah.
And I was like, holy shit, you can do first person in third person, kind of.
Yes.
Yeah. That's what it felt like.
I found it kind of liberating after doing 7 books in first person. Because in first person, everything is self-reflective.
One narrator.
Right. And it's the main character. And when I did it with third person, I was able, even though it was tightly focused and everything was going through the main character, he's in every scene, and everything is his observation, but it gives you that ability to have him react in a way that he wouldn't say he was reacting in.
Yeah, you wouldn't be that self-aware. Yeah,
right. Yeah, exactly.
But it was interesting. I really enjoyed that. That, not to give game, spoilers away for Claws of the Collector, but Alex does make an appearance in it. So
it's my transition book. Yeah,
nice. But it does it really well. It's really interesting as a fan of the show. So you go from sort of that inhabiting his world and suddenly seeing him from the other character's point of view. So looking really inside out, outside in.
I really enjoyed that. I enjoyed having people be able to describe him for themselves.
Yeah. And someone encounter him, and he has a fairly big part, but he's not the main character.
Yeah. When I wrote Southerland, he always talked about how he had a face that only a mother could love, this kind of thing.
Yeah.
And I had an opportunity to have other people describe what he actually looked like in Claws of the Collector. So that was a lot of fun. Yeah. They were all afraid of his eyes.
Yes.
That is one of the fun hopping. I don't hop. I guess it's I multiple different points of view. I like looking at things from different angles. That's what drives me to write different points of view, and perhaps too many points of view for some people. And it's going to get worse in book 2. And that's why I don't think pantsing would be possible for what I've
You can't,
fucking
you can't
We
please
won't listen to
everybody.
them, David. Don't listen to them.
You can't please everybody. Yeah, I would be very suspect of a book that pleased everybody. I would think,
yeah.
what's wrong with this book? And everybody loves it. Yeah. You know,
What's wrong with everyone?
Wizard of Oz has 1-star reviews. Okay, you know, Dr. Seuss has 1-star reviews. All right.
I used to find that when I was early in my writing career, I would find my favorite book and then filter out and find 1-star reviews just to feel better about myself. To be like, okay, I'm not doing so bad. Some
I like
hates this.
If I'm considering a book, I always read the worst reviews because I want to see what people hated about it. And a lot of times they'll say something like, oh, I hated it because it had bad language or because it had a religious view I didn't care for or something like that. Or it was, you know, it had some gender opinions that I don't share. And I'm thinking, okay, well, this book probably is pretty good, you know.
So in that sort of vein, I suppose it's appropriate to ask, like, are there any 1-star reviews of your books that stuck in your mind over the years you've been writing?
I think I have a couple of favorites. And
you shared some on Instagram. I should have gotten them. You shared some verbatim or screenshot.
They were either 1-star or 2-star, but either way, one was like too many F-bombs, and so I something and don't show this book to anyone under 16. You know, I love that. For a while, I had that on my Amazon page as a recommendation for the book. You know, don't let anyone under 16 read this book. You know, and I took the too many F-bombs and I posted that on Twitter, and my sales just went through the roof. You know?
The best 1-stars.
Oh, the 1-star reviews are marketing gold.
I think one of them called it woke noir or something.
Yeah, woke noir. Yeah,
like,
too woke. I always publicize every time I get too woke. I always publicize that. Yeah. Oh, I got one that said, what was it? Went in and out of my head just a second, but it was along those lines. Oh, I remember what it was. No, it's totally different. In fact, it was, I love the book, but there's no way a world ruled by dragons would look like this.
I think I saw that.
I read that review and my jaw just dropped. And I said, my God, dragons are real. And this guy knows what they're thinking.
A dragon wrote this review.
Oh my gosh. I should have done more research.
Damn it.
I love that. My you know, I love my good reviews too, you know.
Of course.
But because they flatter my ego.
Yes.
And I love having my ego flattered because
you're here.
And I have a huge ego, and it takes a lot to really tell me something that I'm not telling
big
myself,
appetite.
You know? Yeah, exactly.
There's a great one here, Douglas. I just found for Nymph Returns to the Sea. It's good series until this book. Author got woke and destroyed his main character.
I remember that one.
I think I saw that.
Yeah. Was that Nymph?
Yes.
That was Nymph Returns to the Sea.
Yeah.
Plot spoiling. How does Alexander Southerland become woke? Generally curious.
In Nymph, what people responded to was he was. I have a flashback to sort of a recent flashback to a romance that he was in, because I don't have Southerland do very much romance in the book itself, in the story itself. So I did one in a recent flashback, right? One that he had just broken up from. And in his relationship with this woman, he made every possible mistake that a man can make with a woman. Every one that I had ever made myself, every one I'd ever heard of. And so he looks terrible in this relationship with this woman, and this woman, you know, eventually, of course, breaks up with Southerland, and she's got every reason to, you know. And so I think what the guy was responding to is that my big tough, you know, noir character, my noir detective, my Mike Hammer, you know, my Raymond, my Philip Marlowe, my Sam Spade, is getting bested by a woman. And this reviewer obviously could not handle that at all.
He's too self-reflective.
Yeah, probably so. Yeah. It makes me wonder if this man's ever had a relationship with a woman.
Right.
the
He
one?
might be a what's that guy? Andrew something. I forgot his name. Andrew
Oh yeah, I know who you're
Tate.
talking about. Yeah, that's it. Andrew Tate, yeah.
The shit on
One of those
women guy.
alpha males. Yeah.
Yes.
Well, my
Did he turn out to be a
nasty little-
pedophile though? I feel like he may have come out.
I think he did
He's-
some trafficking.
He's under
Trafficking.
investigation.
Yeah, under
Yeah.
investigation.
Oh,
My
weird.
nasty little novella. Oops. Yeah, that one there. Yeah, there you go. Demon's Dagger. Yeah,
Nice.
this is my response to the incel crowd. Yeah. So if you're incel, you probably don't want to read that book. Yeah, just give that one a miss.
Look, on this subject, this is spoilery, and it's also I don't know. This is I should have put the beans up. Now I've opened the box. There's the real possibility that when the dust settles, wherever my book, when the dust settles in book 2, the transition, because some of the leaders of some of the factions and nations and so on will probably not survive. There's a lot of points of view, and a lot of them are at odds with each other. And zooming out, and this was not planned, but there's going to be there's a potential for, this is not spoilerish because the book's not written, but there's the potential for a shift from a lot of male leadership to a lot of female leadership.
Uh-huh.
And I'm curious if that's going to be,
Oh, you'll get lots of response to that, sure. DEI, man.
That's it'll be interesting. Because first off, it's not, if that were to happen, it's not based on some agenda. It's not, and I don't know if I'm trying to clear
It's
my
just a
whatever.
logical progression, right?
It's just a logical progression
development.
of the thing that the rock that I skipped across the lake. This is how
Right.
shit falls,
Yeah. That's pantsing,
I hope that I don't make any decisions plot wise based on that one way or another, because the story
It's got to
is
happen
what-
naturally.
is what matters, not any of the other horseshit.
Yeah. Well, I think with Demon's Dagger, I did make a conscious decision. To respond to the whole incel thing. But for the most part, these things do kind of happen organically. They just kind of happen naturally in my books. Yeah. I think I made the conscious exactly. I made the conscious decision in which to have a female detective, but and to have her be a strong character, and to make sure that there was never ever going to be a romance between her and my main character, because I'm fine with most tropes, but a couple of tropes really bother me, and this is, I think, especially in American books, movies, and television, is that after you get past the initial idea that you had this brilliant idea for the book, you get past that initial idea, and you still have more stuff to write, that the book degenerates into a relationship between the good-looking male character and the good-looking female character. And it's usually a teaser kind of thing. Will they or won't they?
Yeah.
Lots of hints. And I'm thinking, this is so junior high. I mean, it's like American literature is coming right out of junior high, especially movies and television. Yeah.
And some are, Frozen 2, apparently, and I don't think I've seen it, but apparently there was not a relationship, and there was feedback. There was negative feedback because it didn't figure out why wasn't there a relationship. I have a main character. It's some of the people who've read it are like talking to me about, oh, she's going to end up with this. She's going to end up with him. She's going to end up with this or this or this.
Because that's what they're used to. It's what people are used to.
She's almost completely asexual. I don't have any I don't mind spoiling this. I don't feel like her character suggests that she's trying to get with somebody. She's not. She's not interested, and it's not going to fucking happen.
But it's what people are used to. It's what they've become trained to look for. And sometimes which of these characters are going to hook up. Yeah.
We talked about Ready Player One last week, where I've whined and cried about it because I thought it was overrated. But there's a relationship that happens in that book that is the most forced, lacking any kind of chemistry nonsense.
I know what you're talking about. I didn't care for that book either.
In a book or a film, it was.
Yeah, I didn't care for it.
No.
But
Okay,
anyway,
sorry.
now we've bummed everyone out.
Right.
Let's talk about something we loved.
Okay, I got you.
Quickly.
Do audiobooks count as reading? This was a question on your thing. You
God.
said, what difference does it make? Don't know, don't care. I'm with that too. Hey, you said your same answer applies to is a hot dog a sandwich? And a lot of too frequently asked questions like it. Don't know, don't care. So I have a question for you.
Okay. Do you know my
Is
answer
water-
already?
I already have it. Is water wet?
Is water wet? As far as I'm concerned, yes.
Yeah, me too.
There was a question.
Do people actually ask that question?
Because it makes things wet.
I see.
But does that in itself and I can't argue for the side of no, because I've never really understood. But there was a point, I feel like it might have been a high school or even a middle school age.
I can't argue either way because I could care less.
Right. At the end of the day, that's the same as can 100 humans beat up a silverback?
Yeah, I'm
gorilla.
not going to be one of the 100. I'm not going to be.
I'll be number 99. I'll be 100. Let it get gassed.
I'll be the one who runs.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now, these are. I understand these questions are like icebreakers. Just to get people discussing.
Yeah.
And some of them are actually kind of interesting. I can't think of any offhand, but most of them,
I can't think of a single one.
I can't think of any offhand. But I'm sure some of them are.
Sure.
But yeah, for the most part, it's like, is this going to make a difference in my life one way or the other?
Right.
Remember the blue dress, red dress thing?
Blue or gold.
Blue or gold. Yeah, blue or gold dress.
That was annoying. That was quite annoying.
What was annoying was the way people defended their point of view.
Yeah.
So strenuously, and I'm thinking, is this really, something that's highlighting your life that you're going to spend so much energy on that? It's not blue. It's not blue. It's gold. Okay, whatever you say. I don't.
Done and done.
Yeah, good. No, it's not gold. It's blue. Okay, then. There you go.
I still don't care.
Yes.
I've yet to care. All right, another, just because I dug all this stuff up. Let's see.
But I don't want to let this go quite yet.
Yeah, no. Let's talk about it for another 15 minutes.
Yeah, it's the whole audiobook thing. Is listening to an audiobook, or do audiobooks count as reading? That's how it usually works out. So I'm thinking, there are people defending reading books as if they belong to a tribe. Okay. And their idea of reading books is what defines reading. And this matters intensely to them.
Yeah.
And they don't want anybody who's experiencing a book in a different way, such as audibly. Okay. They don't want them trying to sneak their way into their tribe.
Into their conversations, even.
Yeah, exactly. Excuse me. This is an intra-tribal conversation. We have not opened this up to the general public. Okay. And I'm thinking, human beings have this instinctive, I don't know what you call it, but instinctively they want to belong to a tribe.
Tribe
human
up.
Beings, tribe up. Okay. Instinctively, human beings want to belong to a small group. And once they find their group, they want to hate anyone who's not in it. Okay? Or they want to resent anybody who's not in it. You see so many examples of this all the time. Now that I have been accepted into this tribe, who is it that I hate? Okay? Who is it that I'm opposed to? Yeah, give me the list. Because I'm one of you. All right.
I think that would excel in politics. I think America should really consider.
That's where you see it most.
I've seen this before, like on Facebook groups. I'm in a couple of reading and writing book groups, and folks will be like, I was reading this book, and the narrator was so good, and it inevitably a comment will say, "You mean you were listening to? Did you mean to say that you were listening to?"
Yeah.
And the folks that go out of their way to have to do that, I try to invent reasons. I try to understand people. That's what I do. And some of it's more ridiculous than others, but I'm like, is it maybe some people it's very challenging to read.
Or
they
maybe
feel
they
like
just prefer audiobooks.
but the people who it's challenging to read and then they manage to do it feel
Yeah.
like they have something
Right.
that
Sure.
not everybody can have, that
Yeah.
they don't want to share. I don't know.
Well, my question is always, why does this matter to you?
Why does it matter?
Why does it
Yeah.
matter to you?
Yeah.
You know, why?
What did it change for you?
I said read, and you said I should have said listen. Why? Why does this matter
Yeah.
to you? Well, I
The
belong
time
to.
it takes to
I
even
belong to this group that says reading is seeing a word on a page and processing it. Yeah, whatever.
I'm the president of the actual reading
Yes, that's
tribe,
right.
so
yeah. Who cares? Okay,
Right or wrong.
done with that.
yes, for sure. If you could choose a superpower, what would it be?
Oh, you know, I've actually thought about this a lot.
Oh, I know.
Yeah. And I'm not sure I've ever come up with an answer that I really liked.
You have an answer. I don't know how much you like it.
Did I write an answer to this?
Yeah, and I'm not telling you yet until you.
Oh man, I can't remember what I wrote. I can't remember. Did it have something to do with like eternal good health or something like that?
No.
Huh.
Although, dang, that's a good answer.
Yeah, that would be a good answer.
Immortality.
I might have to. I might want to change the answer I wrote. What? And now
Eternal
you got to
good
tell
health.
me.
Eternal good health and immortality
Eternal-
aren't necessarily the same thing.
That's true. That's
Yeah,
true. Yeah, you
very
could
true.
be eternally in bad health. I wouldn't want that.
Yeah.
What did I write? Now you got to tell me.
Or eternally locked in your brain was uploaded to consciousness in a spaceship, a satellite, and now you've gone totally crazy, but you've got to defend this planet because it's the hibernation point for these spiders that have been lifted. Anyways, go ahead, Charlie.
Yeah. Well, I just finished reading a beta read for a book, and in this, I won't give anything away, but in this book, the main character has the power to really bring back the dead and make them inhabit, and they cut off the head, and they're stuck in the head. So they're brought back and they're in the head, and the head disintegrate, but they could be stuck in there. They said, if you don't behave, I'm going to chuck you down a well, basically, and you'll be there for eternity in your skull.
That makes for great comedy. Richard Codry did that in his Sandman Slim book.
Yeah. Oh, that's a great series. Yeah.
It's great stuff. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, you got to tell me my answer now.
Your answer, it was very straightforward. Shapeshifter.
Oh, yeah. You know what? Yeah,
Okay.
I think I'm going to go with that. Yeah, I think I'm going to go with that.
Free shapeshifting, so like any let's just say animal.
But what would the animal be though?
Yeah.
Where at?
You know, where at? I'm gonna. I think I'm gonna go with shade here and go with Weircat. Go with a collection.
Cats are some of the best.
A clouder of cats, because I'm a cat person.
Yeah.
Got two cats. Prince and Cinderella. Prince is all black. Cinderella's all white. Yeah, so they're like the yin yang symbol.
Oh, nice, for sure.
Yeah.
I think I'd have to go with some sort of bird of prey because I want to fly. I want to experience the 3D aspect of, I'm stuck on the ground.
I get it. Yeah, I do have. I told you condor as well. I may as well give it away. It's actually weir condors.
Oh, yeah, of course it is. How many condors does a human? 6.
Oh wow, and
that's
huge.
A lot. That's enough to fall on a corpse and turn it into bones, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah, or pick them clean once they're a corpse. Yeah. I won't give any more away than that though.
For sure.
Well, I haven't got to that bit yet.
Yeah. You'll get there. It's about halfway through.
Oh, cool. I look forward to it. Yeah.
I don't know what our time is looking like. I'll need a grown up to tell me about that.
Tom's going to tap out shortly.
I'm about to be double booked, actually. Yeah.
Okay. I know I got a kayak to pick up before dark, so that's my okay. But you have a doctorate in medieval European history.
Yep.
Is that this failure to research on my own? George R.R. Martin, his education, I feel like, is medieval European history as well.
I'm not sure what his educational background is, but I wouldn't be surprised.
Does that? And this is a stupid question, I'm sure, but it gives you a chance to just kind of. This is probably one that you've heard a million times. How much does that flavor your writing? You're writing modern times, right?
Right. Yeah, not as much as you would think. but what I mostly studied was history of ideas.
Nice.
I have a nonfiction book out there.
Yes.
On
Charlie was talking about that.
Yeah. About a dozen people have read it.
Well, he's one.
It's
I
an
didn't even know about it. I
academic
thought I had done research, and he's talking about this thesis, and I'm like, wait, what? How'd this get by me?
But it's on the history of apocalyptic thought in the very early Middle Ages, late antique period. So yeah, I taught a course on apocalyptic thought in college.
Charlie, I want it. Is that what you read, Charlie?
I haven't read it yet.
All right,
Yeah,
Douglas,
oh, he hasn't read it yet. Okay.
tell me where.
It's only 110 pages long.
Where
It's
can we
called-
find
Yeah,
it?
You can get it
I
on
think it's
Amazon
about-
actually, if you're not boycotting.
I think Amazon in Australia, because it's not made here, so it's
way
about
too
$100.
expensive. Yeah, it's way too expensive.
$100. So
And
yeah,
it's only 110 pages, like $1 a page.
yeah.
What's the name of it?
It's called and then the end will come. Early Latin Christian interpretations of the opening of the seven seals.
7. That's right. I remember that now.
Yeah.
It's $1 a page.
It's about $1 a page, and probably worth
Worth every
a
cent.
penny a page. Yeah. No, but maybe it doesn't. But one of the highlights of my life was the first time I ever saw it footnoted in somebody else's academic piece. So I got footnoted.
Nice.
So I felt
Awesome.
like I had made it. Felt
You
like
made
I had
it.
made it then. Yeah.
Yeah.
Some other scholar
plus-
used me for a footnote.
That plus 1-star reviews means you've made it. I haven't made it. I have no
Right.
1-star reviews yet, so I'm still
Yeah.
a budding.
And you've yet to be quoted in there.
I'll write you one if you want.
I'm waiting patiently. It's actually not a rush, so don't.
But it's
So I have-
the one final thing to show that you've made it is, I think what's becoming like a favorite question of ours is the brown paper bag quote. And you do have a new book. It's out in August.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. August 1st.
Yeah.
In deep coprolite.
Tell us the brown paper bag quote.
So do you-
It's
do you-
basically you go to the bookstore. It's the blind date with a book. You basically it's like the elevator pitch. You sum up your
Oh.
book.
yeah.
Okay.
So there's no cover. If someone's picking up this book and there's a
I
couple
see.
lines saying,
I
how
got you.
they-
Oh, I'm terrible at this.
Me too.
I mean, you've heard me in this whole interview, right? I can't sum anything up quickly. All right.
give you a
So we have.
paragraph.
Okay. Well, yeah. Okay, I can do a paragraph, I think. So Benedict Shade, weircat, and collector of exotic and potentially lethal magical items, finds himself in a backwoods cult, trying to steal 2 pieces of coprolite from a river demon. How's that?
Intriguing.
Now you have to know what coprolite is, right? Coprolite is fossilized feces.
I heard the copra in there.
Coprolite.
Coprolite.
Coprolite. So the
Coprolite.
title is a bit of a pun in deep
Yeah.
coprolite.
Indeed.
I really want to review it and just say this book is the shit.
There you go. And give it
Yeah,
1
see.
star.
So when you see
1 star.
Tom
Well, that was
Tom
a good book,
UK,
yeah.
you know who did that one.
Yeah.
Tom, I thought
Instead of a star, I want 1 turd emoji.
1 turd emoji. Tom, I thought you were going to ask the Douglas, or the John Douglas question.
Oh yeah. The cage match.
match.
question.
Oh, that's a good
Okay.
one. Yeah.
Let's close this out. All right, Douglas. Cage match.
With
To the
one
death.
author.
Well, no, it doesn't have to be to the death.
Not to the death, sure.
Yeah, to the death is optional. You can choose one author, live or dead, rage in the cage. Who's it going to be?
Oh boy. 1 author. Rage in a cage. Am I betting for him or against him?
We all bet our answers had us dying. Most of us had us dying in the cage. I fought Jay Kristoff, who's like 19 feet tall.
You mean I'm in there with him?
Oh, you're
Yeah.
in there with him.
Oh, I see. Okay. 1 author, me, and 1 author in a cage. Wow. Let me see here. So if I'm in there with Harry Crews, I'm definitely betting on him. Okay. But I'm going to give him 5 or 10 good seconds. Okay. Where he knows he's in a match.
Nice.
Okay? Yeah. So I'm going to go with Harry Crews. Yeah.
Nice
if you
one.
read Feast of Snakes, you'll know why.
Awesome.
Yeah.
You know the pattern is that I'm seeing?
What's that?
Authors are masochistic and like to entertain.
Yeah.
Yeah, could be. But maybe sadomasochistic, because I think a lot of the stuff in my book gets people upset.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Right. You don't cry while writing. You don't cry. You don't cry and bleed over the keyboard. That was one of the answers.
Yeah.
You write because it's fun.
Look, I respect people who do. I mean, there are people out there who, at least if you believe what they're saying on Twitter and other social media, they're, they ask them, why do you write? He says, well, my writing process is I take everything that's inside me, all the turmoil, all the trouble, all the trauma that I've experienced in my life, and I bleed it out on the page for everyone to see. And, it's cathartic. And, I haven't experienced that much trauma in my life. I had a nice suburban childhood. I was well loved by everyone in my family. I went through 2 divorces, but and there was some trauma there, but nothing I couldn't handle. And my marriage now is so wonderful that I barely remember those past experiences. So I don't have any trauma to bleed out on a page, but I do have dark stuff somewhere in my head that I don't mind exposing for people to see. And I don't cry or I don't find it cathartic. I just think that maybe some people might enjoy reading that. So that's what I do. So that's my answer to that question. Yeah.
I definitely, I think I've cried over every single chapter I've ever written.
Is that right?
I don't know if it's trauma or if it's suffering. I don't know.
I have, people talk on social media a lot about how hard it is to write, and I respect.
It's not over the hardness that I'm shedding tears. It's over either something heroic or tragic or
how much emotion that they're putting on the page, and how cathartic or how difficult it is, and I read a lot of times about how painful it is to write, and it's alien to me. I don't understand that personally. I understand how it could be for other people. Mm-hmm. But I have fun writing. Writing is one of the most fun things I have ever done in my life. And I enjoy writing. And every day that I have sat down and written has been a great day. It's just a fun-filled experience for me. And that's why I do it. If it wasn't fun, I sure wouldn't. I'd find something else to do.
For what it's worth, I don't dislike. I'm not going to say sobbing. That sounds noisy. I don't dislike crying over it. And it is therapeutic. I don't hate it. I feel like it's
feels good.
It does. The purge feels.
Yeah.
That's
and that works for you, and that's great. I love it. That doesn't work for me.
Well, that's good. Good for you. Good for your box of Kleenex, non-existent box of Kleenexes. Literally have.
Hey, everyone does it differently, and
that's right.
Whatever you're doing, that's the right way for you. And if it's the wrong way for you, then do it differently. Try something else.
Agreed.
Or just try to write 9 more first lines and see what happens. Right
there, you go. Exactly. Exactly.
We better call it there. Douglas, thank you so much for joining us.
Sure.
Hey, I've had a great time.
We could have gone on for another 2 hours easily.
Yep.
There's probably still so many questions in the professional research we haven't touched upon.
Mine's not spent yet. I have more questions, but next time.
We'll come back for next time.
You can always invite me back.
Hey, this is why I save documents. This is why I edit and save while interviewing.
But before then, Douglas, where can our readers, our viewers find you on the socials, on Amazon?
Well, I'm on Twitter. I think I'm Douglas Lumsden 1. And that's probably the best place to catch me on social media. I'm also on Blue Sky and Instagram, but I don't do as much there. My books are on Amazon. Just look up my name. I'm in Goodreads, so I'm not hard to find. Just have to want to.
Yeah, that's it. And highly recommend if you haven't had a chance, go check them out. Very entertaining books and lots of fun.
Thanks a lot. Charlie has been one of my best supporters. One of my great promoters. Yeah,
That's one of
I
his
feel like
superpowers.
I feel like I owe him a commission, to tell you the truth.
Just keep writing. It's all good.
Yeah. Yeah, this has been great, guys. I've loved it.
Thanks for everybody. Well, thanks for that, and we'll see you all next time. So thanks for coming.
Thanks, everyone.
You've been listening to the Four Beardsmen of the Bookpocalypse. Like, share, and subscribe for more.